Immortal Cultivation. I run an internet cafe in another world. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 201 Learned. After Bai Luo said this, he sat there. In fact, we are also making efforts. We want to control a larger area. Our strength has also increased to a certain extent. As you can see, my strength would not be able to reach this level without Bai Luo's help. Yang Chen and the ancestor talked about his experience. When the ancestor heard him mention Bai Luo's name, he said to him, "Who is Bai Luo? Is he your friend? Or is he here?" The ancestor was very curious about the Bai Luo that Yang Chen mentioned at this time, because according to Yang Chen, he was able to reach his current level because of Bai Luo's inspiration. Otherwise his strength would not have been able to grow like it is now. Yes, ancestor, because of Bai Luo, my strength can be reshaped to a certain extent, so I can reach the current level. Next, I will definitely make progress faster. At this time, after the ancestor understood Yang Chen's experience, he turned his eyes to Yang Zhu, who was standing aside. Yang Zhu also started to talk at this time. Yang Zhu's strength progressed very quickly. When he said these words, although he felt a little pressure, he was still relatively comfortable. Yang Zhu also mentioned Bai Luo when she spoke. The biggest help for both of us actually comes from Bai Luo, because he is so strong. So after we became friends with him, we were more or less influenced by him. I can tell you, the ancestor, that without Bai Luo, we would not be able to reach our current level. The ancestor was very curious about Bai Luo at this time. After all, Bai Luo was mentioned in the words of Yang Chen and Yang Zhu, and it can be heard that it was the existence of Bai Luo that helped them grow so fast. At this time, the ancestor looked at Bai Luo, who was sitting behind him, and asked Yang Chen and Yang Zhu, "Is that the Bai Luo you are talking about?" After hearing this, Yang Zhu and Yang Chen nodded and said to the ancestor, "Yes, this is Bai Luo, our best friend. Without him, we can't get in here." At this time, the ancestor looked at Bai Luo. Bai Luo felt his temptation, so he raised his head and looked into his eyes. His eyes were very calm, as if he was not affected by him. This made the ancestor a little interested in Bai Luo. After all, he could feel that this Bai Luo was not that simple. The ancestor wanted to test Bai Luo, but as soon as his power merged into Bai Luo's body, he found that he could be resurrected. It was because of Bai Luo's powerful power that he could summon his soul to reappear here. It was because of Bai Luo's existence that he could be resurrected, so the ancestor at this time could feel the control of that huge power on himself, and the ancestor at this time couldn't help but feel a little afraid. After all, this kind of power that he couldn't figure out was simply too much for him to deal with, so the ancestor was naturally a little afraid of Bai Luo and didn't dare to continue exploring. At the same time, the ancestor found that there was a hidden, but still powerful power here, and he had felt this power before. The ancestor then cast his eyes back to Yang Zhu and Yang Chen, and found that this power did not come from them, nor had anything to do with Bai Luo. It seemed that it could only be the person in the corner, so the ancestor looked at the little rabbit. The little rabbit felt his test on himself at this time, but the little rabbit didn't even open his eyes, just sitting there quietly. At the same time, the ancestor discovered the identity of the little rabbit, and was immediately surprised. How did he become like this? Logically speaking, as a divine beast, how could he fall to such a state? At this time, the ancestor's heart was full of questions. His descendants actually followed two such powerful beings. He suddenly didn't know how to say it. He thought his descendants would not disappoint him, but he didn't expect that two strangers would bring him such a big shock. The ancestor didn't know what to say for a while, but he didn't dare to suspect Bai Luo too much, for fear that Bai Luo's powerful power would engulf him. After all, he was able to revive in this place because of Bai Luo's power. Once Bai Luo withdraws this power, he will return to the state of death. Wouldn't it be a complete loss of the initiative? So the ancestor was a little restrained at this time and continued to talk to Yang Chen and Yang Zhu in that place. However, He looked at Bai Luo from time to time, and after finding that Bai Luo didn't react, he dared to release his power at ease. At least the ancestor could feel that Bai Luo should have no ill will towards him, so there was no need to worry that Bai Luo would attack him. The ancestor continued to look at Ao Yangzu and Ao Yangchen and talked to them. Bai Luo understood the ancestor's detection just now. He knew at this time that it seemed that he didn't take action because he knew he was not his opponent, which should have saved a lot of trouble. And Xiao too was very calm, and he didn't feel nervous, even when he learned of his identity. Because since Xiao too saw Bai Luo's amazing attack, he had already put aside his worries. Following Bai Luo, he was not afraid of any attack. He could stay here freely. So Xiao too planned to take a rest. After all, it seemed that these people had no intention of leaving this place, so why not take a rest here and catch up with them after they left. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus book bar released this novel for the first time. Although the ancestor could feel that Bai Luo had no ill will towards them, it was like this for the time being. Who knew what would happen next? The ancestor wanted to transmit his power to Ao Yangchen and the others as soon as he saw them. After all, he didn't know how long he could exist. It would be better to pass on his power to Ao Yangchen and Ao Yangzu so that they would become stronger and there would be hope for the restoration of the Ao Yang family. But now he was very worried about the safety of Ao Yangzu and Ao Yangchen. After all, with the existence of Bai Luo and Xiao too, the ancestors' worries were understandable. Now they could only continue to sit here. Ao Yangchen couldn't help but ask, "Ancestor, what should we do next? Are we just going to sit here? Can you leave this place and go outside?" The ancestor nodded and told him that he was now temporarily resurrected and could leave with them, but the ancestor asked them to rest here for a while because he could feel that they must have been affected to a certain extent, so their strength was lost to a certain extent. The ancestor planned to let them stay here. Chapter 202 Disappointment. The ancestor did not say anything else. At this time, Bai Luo came to Ao Yangzu and Ao Yangchen and asked them briefly. They told him that there was nothing wrong, so Bai Luo nodded. "That's good. We can't stay here forever. If we stay for a while, let's leave this place." Ao Yangzu nodded. He believed in Bai Luo's judgment on these things, so several people stayed in this place. Although the ancestor was resting in that place, he didn't know how to face Bai Luo. After all, this kind of opponent that he couldn't defeat was always a threat to the ancestor. Bai Luo naturally knew what the ancestor was thinking, but he didn't show it. He just did what he should do. After all, if it caused some unnecessary trouble, it would be a bit bad for Bai Luo, so they stayed in this place. In the process of getting along with Ao Yangzu and Ao Yangchen, the ancestor accepted the fact that they were his descendants, so he wanted to protect them even more. Bai Luo following him made the ancestor's alarm bells ring, but he couldn't say anything. In front of them, his power couldn't be transmitted to Ao Yangzu and Ao Yangchen. So the ancestor was very wary of Bai Luo and Xiao too at this time, but he pretended not to care for the time being and rested in that place. Since they had agreed to stay here, they didn't say anything. Bai Luo began to circulate the power in his body at this time. He just recalled the power emitted during the attack between himself and those people in the demon realm. He felt a little surprised. It seems that the power in the system can indeed bring them a certain impact. There should be nothing to be afraid of next, so Bai Luo planned to fully mobilize it during the next attack. Now he had to stay here and make plans after they left. Now Bai Luo understood that they still had to wait for a while, but he didn't know whether this ancestor would leave with them. Now Bai Luo didn't care too much about this matter, because the moment he came in, he already knew that this ancestor was not his opponent at all, so even if he would do something else, Bai Luo didn't have to worry. The most important thing is that the ancestor is the ancestor of Ao Yangzu and Ao Yangchen, so how could he attack him? Bai Luo regarded him as a trustworthy person, so he sat here steadily. They didn't know how long they stayed in this place, so long that Xiao too had already fallen asleep. After waking up, he rubbed his eyes and found that they were still sitting here and couldn't help complaining to Bai Luo. "Aren't we leaving yet? Aren't there other tasks? Are we going to stay here forever?" Since we have found what our Yangzu and our Yangchen want to find, then we should leave from this place. Do we have to stay here until the next life? Zio2's voice was transmitted to our Yangzu and our Yangchen. The two of them also felt that the time was long enough, so they discussed with Bai Luo. If you think it's okay, then let's go. Why don't you tell your ancestor, and then we'll say goodbye. Bai Luo's words were heard by our Yangzu and our Yangchen, and the two agreed with him, so they came to the side of the ancestor. When they approached, the ancestor opened his eyes and looked at them. At this time, our Yangchen told the ancestor that they were leaving and could not stay with him all the time, so they bowed to the ancestor, and our Yangzu was about to turn around and leave with our Yangchen. At this time, the ancestor stopped them and said to them, I just remembered that I can't stay here all the time, so can I leave with you? Since you are going to leave, why not take me with you? No one expected that the ancestor actually wanted to go with them, so now our Yangzu and our Yangchen were shocked. They looked at Bai Luo and wanted to ask his opinion. Since he said so, Bai Luo didn't want to say anything, so he nodded, without any intention of refusing. So at this time, our Yangzu and our Yangchen agreed with the ancestor's words. The ancestor found an excuse and followed them and left here because the ancestor still wanted to follow our Yangzu and our Yangchen to see what kind of existence Bai Luo was. Otherwise, he really couldn't let go of this worry. He had just tested them and found that these two were the most talented among his descendants. If there was a problem, just because of an uncertain Bai Luo, then wouldn't he have multiplied the family in vain? So now the ancestor cares a lot about our Yangzu and our Yangchen. He is naturally very nervous about them, fearing that they will be in any danger. In addition, his power has not been fully transmitted to our Yangchen and our Yangzu, so the ancestor is so nervous at this time. So they went out of the cave. It was complicated to come in from this place, but it was very smooth to go out. So at this time, they have come to the outside of the cave. Seeing the clear sky again, Bai Luo's mood has become a little better. Sure enough, staying in the dark place all the time is indeed a bit uncomfortable. When they came up from the bottom, everyone was relieved. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR published this novel for the first time. At this time, the ancestor was looking at the scene outside, a little shocked. He had never thought that the outside would change like this. He looked at the different buildings and the different smells in the air, which made the ancestor feel a little emotional. Time passed really quickly. Everything had changed. It was a great honor for him to appear here again. Otherwise, he would not be able to see the new luck now. The ancestor looked at this place. At this time, they gathered together again and discussed going to the last area because they had left the place where they were trapped just now. Next, they just had to go to the last place. However, what Bai Luo and the others did not expect was that they were very smooth here, but the replica that was made by mistake just now was living very freely in another area, as if it was not restricted at all. Bai Luo and the others did not realize that they actually existed in another area, but they were replicas of people other than Bai Luo, and they were making trouble in another place. They originally belonged to the negative personality of Zio2 and others, so they were naturally evil beings, and they would not consider the outside world like them. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 203 Replica. So when they appeared there, those who were familiar with Zio2 and his friends were a little shocked and said to them, "Why are you back? Didn't you say you were going to look for something on the other side? How come you're here so soon?" Those people in the Holy Land had no idea that the people standing in front of them were not the Zio2, our Yangzu and our Yangchen they knew, but the negative personalities of Zio2 and his friends. Those people looked at him and smiled at him. "What's wrong with me? What does it have to do with you? Are you meddling too much in these matters?" Zio2 startled those people when he spoke. What was going on? Zio2 had never spoken to them like this before. The copied our Yangzu and our Yangchen began to use their own power to wantonly attack passers-by in that place. Those people in the Holy Land were not as powerful as them. Under such an attack, naturally, several people were seriously injured. So they all started to say to them in that place, "Stop making trouble. How come you came back so soon and suddenly attacked us here? Did something difficult happen?" Even now, those people in the Holy Land have not noticed that they are wrong and are still asking them there. Originally, in the eyes of those people, Gao Yangzu and Zhao Tu are more important. They all know that they are the friends of the saint, and no one dares to be perfunctory, let alone attack them. Even if Zhao Tu has been attacking them, they have to bear it there. The shadows belonging to Zhao Tu and others, but relying on their status, they act recklessly in that place. They will bully anyone they see, and even those buildings that they don't like, they directly demolish them. For a while, it brought a lot of trouble to the Holy Land. Everyone began to avoid Zhao Tu and Dao Yangzu and others. I don't know why they have evolved into this, because if they don't avoid them, Zhao Tu and others will attack them after seeing them. Therefore, the people in the Holy Land were full of doubts. Did they have any conflicts with the saint, so they did such a thing? They didn't know how to solve such a situation, so they could only avoid it and not run into them. And the shadows of Zhao Tu and his friends were very stirring up trouble, with no intention of restraining themselves. If Bai Luo knew all this, he might be able to stop it immediately, but now Bai Luo didn't notice what was happening over there, and was still looking for the last area here. The ancestor followed behind Dao Yangzu and Dao Yangchen, and wanted to say something to them from time to time, but found that they seemed to care about Bai Luo. When they were on the road, they would ask Bai Luo from time to time, and the relationship between them should be good, which made the ancestor very distressed. How could he keep them away from Bai Luo? This is a time bomb. If they get close, once he explodes, it will affect the two of them. How can I say this? It's really painful. The ancestor was thinking about these things helplessly in his heart. He really couldn't think of a good way to solve it, because no matter which direction he went, it seemed to be a dead end, so he was a little helpless at this time. There seemed to be no good solution to these things. The ancestor was thinking about those things behind him, and the little rabbit followed him. The little rabbit looked at the ancestor for a few times, and found that his soul body could survive for so long. He must have relied on Bai Luo's power, otherwise it would be impossible to achieve such a feat. If my soul can also be resurrected like him, then I don't have to be wronged in such a small body. The little rabbit just thought about it. Of course, he didn't dare to do it like the ancestor. After all, he didn't really die like the ancestor, but he was suppressed, so he became the current situation. As long as he waited for a while, he could return to his original appearance. And how long the ancestor can hold on depends entirely on Bai Luo. Bai Luo walked in the last area in front, not realizing what they were thinking here. He was still anxious to find those things and go back. Otherwise, the longer the time drags on, the more he will lose. When Bai Luo thinks about not being able to make money, his flesh hurts. He really needs to save enough money, because only with enough money can he leave this place. Bai Luo has been here long enough, but he didn't expect to be involved in such a complicated matter again, so Bai Luo can only be patient and move forward in this place. Fortunately, he has enough power to protect himself here, so Bai Luo can breathe a sigh of relief. Otherwise, if he has no strength and has to endure all this, Bai Luo would be crying without tears. We still have to walk a lot to reach the last position. Is there no danger? Gao Yangzu suddenly said this, allowing Bai Luo to recover from his imagination, and he said to Yangzu, "Actually, I don't know, but it must not be that complicated. As long as we keep going forward, it should be quite easy. We should be almost at the last place." However, Bai Luo understood that they might need to look for it again, because they had no way to clearly know the destination, and they might have to explore slowly. Gao Yangzu and Dao Yangchen were not in a hurry. The ancestor followed behind them, and the more he looked at Bai Luo, the more he felt something was wrong. He really wanted Dao Yangzu and Dao Yangchen to leave Bai Luo, otherwise there would be a huge problem one day. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. At this time, they continued to move forward. From the food that Bai Luo distributed to them, they could feel that in this team, the leader was Bai Luo, and the others were listening to Bai Luo's opinions. When the ancestor observed, he found that, even when the little rabbit was relatively calm on weekdays, he had a different feeling towards Bai Luo. It seemed that they all understood that Bai Luo was the strongest among them, and the most trustworthy, and they unknowingly obeyed Bai Luo's words. The ancestor thought that this was not a good thing. If they only listened to Bai Luo's words and everything, once Bai Luo made a mistake in judgment, wouldn't it lead them to the wrong situation? But it seemed that they didn't care too much, so they continued to move forward. Bai Luo looked at the ancestor following behind them. He didn't know whether this so-called soul needed to eat something, but he still handed the food in his hand to the ancestor and said to the ancestor, "Do you need to replenish it?" The ancestor was still thinking about how to get rid of Bai Luo and suddenly saw Bai Luo coming in front of him, but he was startled and quickly stepped back. Chapter 204 Beware. Realizing that Bai Luo was asking him whether he wanted to eat or not, the first ancestor quickly shook his head. "How can I eat in this state? But I still appreciate your kindness." Bai Luo didn't say much and continued to walk in that place. The first ancestor understood that looking at Bai Luo's appearance, he knew that he had a good grasp of these things and had nothing to be embarrassed about. When he said this to him, he was very calm. Bai Luo was even more powerful than the person he met at the beginning. Now the first ancestor didn't know what to say and could only continue to move forward in this place. This Bai Luo was really difficult to deal with. Bai Luo followed the route he had noticed at the beginning and passed by many places. When he moved forward, they had already passed those places. After all, what they had to do now was to find their destination. Before reaching their destination, they must have passed through other places. I don't know if there will be people from the demon realm there. Because Bai Luo recalled everything they had just encountered, he knew that those people from the demon realm were still hiding very deeply. They may have set up their own people in various areas, and those people usually hide and cannot be discovered by the outside world. Once their true bodies are revealed, it will cause a certain blow. So Bai Luo and the others are thinking that they should find a place to stop temporarily. After all, they have been walking for a while. They have been walking in this place for almost a day without realizing it, and there is no sign of stopping. The ancestor feels a little tired. After all, he is not as good as before. He is now just a soul, and is very fragile. It is good to be able to hold on until now. On the other hand, Bai Luo and Hangzhou seem to have gotten used to it, especially Zhao too, who seems to be getting more and more excited as he walks, which makes him not know what to say. The ancestor feels that following them can experience a different world, so at this time, the ancestor wants to ask Bai Luo when they will stop, but it is not easy to open the mouth, so he has to come to Hangzhou and Hangchen. At this time, Hangzhou and Hangchen are still walking forward in that place. Feeling the approach of the ancestor, Hangzhou and Hangchen turned around, and the ancestor spoke to them at this time. "How long do we have to walk? It's already been a day. Do we have to keep walking along this road without taking a break?" Bai Luo continued to walk in front and didn't hear what was said behind him. However, a city gradually appeared in front of Bai Luo. This city was standing not far from them. Bai Luo calculated the time and felt that it was time for them to rest. It was just right for them to rest in this city and recover their physical strength. So Bai Luo turned around and said to Hangzhou and Hangchen, "Everyone hold on a little longer. There is a city ahead. We will stop there and rest for a while." After hearing this, the ancestor wanted to ask something else, but he didn't expect it to be solved so quickly. He took back the words that were about to come out of his mouth, and Hangzhou said to the ancestor, "Ancestor, are you okay now? We are about to rest. Please hold on a little longer." The ancestor nodded. Bai Luo was thinking that, when they went in, they should first take a look to see if it was a place controlled by the demon realm, so they had to be careful. So a few people came to the vicinity of the city. When they approached the city, they found that there were people guarding the gate. The person should be an ordinary person, so they didn't care. After telling them their purpose, those people let Bai Luo and his friends in. So Bai Luo came to the city and found that there were people living here. The buildings were not destroyed, but he could still feel that something was abnormal. Bai Luo and his friends settled down in a place and found that there were other natives here, so Bai Luo talked to them there. Are you not under control here? Or are there actually people from the demon realm here? After hearing this, those people didn't expect that Bai Luo would dare to raise such a name. They hurriedly tried to cover Bai Luo's mouth and said to Bai Luo, you better be careful. This is still a place controlled by the demon realm. There is no change. We can only live secretly, otherwise we don't know what kind of punishment we will receive. After hearing this, Bai Luo understood that it seemed that this place was still controlled by the demon realm, so if they wanted to do something, they had to be a little more careful, otherwise if the people from the demon realm knew about it, there would be a big fight. So Bai Luo thanked them and took Yangzu and the others to the other side, a more open area, and let them rest there first. For the time being, the environment can only be like this, so don't be too disgusted. Xiao too didn't say anything, just followed Bai Luo and lay down there. It's good to have a place to rest. Let's replenish our energy first. It's still daytime now. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR first published this novel. So they rested for a night before leaving this place. Gao Yangzu and Dao Yangchen sat down, and Bai Luo sat next to them. Several people rested in this place. At this time, the ancestor secretly came to Yangzu's side and said to Yangzu, how much do you know about this Bai Luo? Why don't you tell me what kind of person this Bai Luo is? Unexpectedly, the ancestor would mention Bai Luo. Gao Yangchen and Dao Yangzu were a little confused, but Dao Yangchen still talked about it. Bai Luo is a friend we know. He is very powerful and is very kind to us. We can only achieve our current achievements by following him. The place we want to explore is very important. As long as we follow Bai Luo, I believe we can definitely reach it. Ancestor, do you have anything else to ask? Ancestor, don't worry, Bai Luo can be trusted completely. There will be no danger at all, because he is our friend. After hearing this, Gao Yangzu nodded in agreement. Seeing that these two people were so obedient and got information about Bai Luo from them, the ancestor felt that they could not continue to follow Bai Luo. So at this time, the ancestor reduced his voice to a range that could only be heard by Yangzu and Yangchen, and began to talk to them. I want to give you a suggestion. You know that I'm your ancestor, so the advice I give you is not nonsense, but a sincere reminder to you. You still have to leave Bai Luo, and don't follow Bai Luo. He is a little dangerous. If you keep following Bai Luo, it is really not good, and you will be affected by him. Chapter 205 Persuasion. Whatever you want to develop, I can help you. Why don't we just leave this place and stop taking Bai Luo with us? The words of the ancestor startled our Yangzu and our Yangchen. They looked at the ancestor in confusion, wondering why the ancestor said such bad things about Bai Luo. Bai Luo had done nothing wrong, so why did the ancestor treat him like an unforgivable villain and ask them to leave quickly? So at this time, Gao Yangzu and Dao Yangchen firmly rejected the ancestor's suggestion. Master, what you said is not right. Bai Luo is our friend. How can we leave him and do these things by ourselves? We have already decided on these things. We will not leave Bai Luo, let alone abandon Bai Luo, so ancestor, please stop talking. The ancestor did not expect that they would refuse so quickly and so firmly. It can be seen that they have determined Bai Luo in their hearts, so they are so persistent. The ancestor can't help but think that they were brainwashed by Bai Luo. Otherwise, how could they reach such a determined level? You two are really, can I lie to you? Letting you leave Bai Luo must be beneficial. If you don't leave him, you will definitely be in danger in the future. The ancestor was still talking there, but Yangzu and Yangchen politely refused him, did not listen to him anymore, and walked to the other side. At this time, the ancestor saw the backs of the two people and didn't know what to say. He could only feel that the two of them must have been brainwashed, otherwise, how could they trust Bai Luo so much? Bai Luo was still sitting there, thinking about going to see other places in the city. Maybe there was something else, because the two of them were going to stay here tonight, and they needed a blanket to spread on the ground. Bai Luo still had some, but in order to prevent other people from getting hurt, Bai Luo planned to go around. After hearing Bai Luo's words, Xiao said to Bai Luo, "Take me with you, take me with you." Xiao had rested enough in this place, so he was willing to follow Bai Luo around. Otherwise, according to his original habit, he would not want to move. At this time, the little rabbit climbed onto Bai Luo's back, and Bai Luo looked back at him. "You can transform into a human form, so why are you lying here with me? You don't have to be a dog all the time." The little rabbit smiled. "Doesn't it feel safer to follow you? Let's go over there and take a look. Maybe we can find some things we need. Anyway, it's still a while before night." So Bai Luo and the little rabbit went to another place to search. Gao Yangzu and Dao Yangchen didn't know what the ancestor wanted to say. He kept saying bad things about Bai Luo to them, which really made them a little unhappy. They left from that place, leaving only the ancestor alone at their original position. The ancestor couldn't move easily from this place. Who knew if he would be noticed by others? So at this time the ancestor could only wait for them to come back in that place with a bit of frustration. Why are these two children so disobedient? Can I deceive them? Bai Luo is very dangerous, but they haven't realized it yet. When they realize it, they will regret it. At this time, the ancestor could only shake his head and sigh, not knowing how to explain these things. These two people were so persistent that he could only wait until night to think of a solution. The ancestor did not give up the idea of taking Yangzu and Yangchen away from Bai Luo, because Bai Luo gave him too much fear. He was resurrected with the help of Bai Luo's power, which he dared not even think of before. Bai Luo did nothing, but because of some leakage of power, he completed all this for him. This made the ancestor understand the terribleness of Bai Luo. There was no way to be sure that this kind of person would stand on his side, so the ancestor was so afraid of Bai Luo and did not dare to let him do anything, for fear that, if he took a wrong step, the fate of the entire Raoyang family would be completely over. That's why the ancestor didn't want Yangzu and Yangchen to follow Bai Luo all the time. But no matter what he said, Yangzu and Yangchen didn't want to do what he said, and even thought that he was deliberately saying bad things about Bai Luo in this place. At this time, the ancestor wanted to cry, but had no tears, but because Bai Luo was here, he couldn't do anything. Now that these people have left, he can only stay in this place. Bai Luo and Xiao walked around that place and found that the city was very large and those buildings were still here. Some people seem to have adapted to such a life, but this city was also controlled by the demon realm, so they would definitely feel the breath of people in the demon realm. Both of them were a little cautious and didn't want to be exposed, because once exposed, there would definitely be a fight. But Bai Luo didn't have that idea now and didn't want to waste his energy because of these. He came to this place just to rest for a while. So at this time, Bai Luo didn't stay in one place for too long, just to see if there was anything he needed. If not, he would immediately go to the next place. After he and Xiao had finished a circle, Xiao and Bai Luo talked. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR published this novel for the first time. Can we go back now? I found nothing after a round of searching. I was really disappointed. I thought there would be something we needed here. After hearing this, Bai Luo felt that it made sense. Let's go. I was supposed to come here alone. Now that you've come, you're talking about it again. Isn't it better to stay there? After saying this, Xiao didn't say anything else. He didn't want to tell Bai Luo that he came out with him, because he didn't want to stay with the ancestor. Otherwise, he wouldn't move easily. If the ancestor didn't exist, Xiao would definitely be waiting for them to come back there. Although Bai Luo didn't get anything useful, he at least understood the surrounding environment. So even if he had to stay here tonight, he shouldn't have to worry about anything. Gao Yangzu and Dao Yangchen went back first with Bai Luo. They did find some useful things, some wood, to keep warm tonight. After all, they had no comfortable place to stay, and it would still be a bit cold at night, so they found some wood to make a fire, so they wouldn't have to worry about anything. At this time, Bai Luo took out the things that they could lie on from his arms, and spread them all on the ground, just enough for them to rest. Chapter 206 Disadvantages. Looking at them, the little rabbit shadow was very happy at this time, as if he didn't care about their feelings at all. He was still in that place, making trouble with the remaining shadows. The people in the Holy Land really didn't know what to say, and could only feel speechless, because they found that no matter how they said it, the people in front of them didn't seem to care. They were really speechless, but they couldn't do anything. They could only pray that they would stop quickly and not continue like this. Otherwise, it was unknown what kind of situation would develop because of these things, so every time they did these things, it was an extremely serious problem for them. Bai Luo and the others still stayed in that place. It can be seen that they are now accustomed to this quiet atmosphere, so they are very tacit and didn't say anything. At this time, the ancestor was still worried in that place. He really hoped that the night would come quickly. At that time, he would have a reason to take Ao Yangzu and Ao Yangchen away from this place quickly. Otherwise, if they kept following Bai Luo, he really didn't know what kind of problems would happen. Zio too stayed at that place peacefully, following Bai Luo's side. He was very comfortable now, but he did not relax his vigilance. Bai Luo knew that, although Zio too looked like he didn't care about anything, he was actually observing everything secretly. If there was any disturbance, Zio too and Bai Luo would be the first to sense it. Zio too brought Bai Luo a certain degree of stability. At least with him in this place, Bai Luo didn't have to take care of all these things alone. Now they were used to these things, and stayed in this place quietly. The atmosphere was very good. Ao Yangzu and Ao Yangchen thought that, as long as the ancestor didn't tell them to leave Bai Luo, then they would naturally not say anything, especially since they were used to the current atmosphere in this place. As long as they waited quietly, there shouldn't be any big problems. After they said this, they were relieved. The sky gradually darkened. At this time, Bai Luo decided to eat something and then go to rest. After all, their main task in this place was to restore their physical strength and then see what they would develop next. So at night, several people started chatting in that place. Bai Luo talked to them about things related to the place they were going to next. Apart from that, they didn't seem to care too much. The current ancestor listened to Bai Luo's story and realized that Bai Luo knew too much. Otherwise, he couldn't say it so calmly. After thinking about this, the ancestor understood that, even if he wanted to take action against Bai Luo, he had to be careful. Otherwise, it would be too easy for some problems to arise. At that time, he would have no way to settle these things. Now Bai Luo told Ao Yangzu, "We can relax a little bit next, but we don't know if there will be anything else in this city. Tomorrow, we will leave this place and continue to the next place and then reach the last area. At that time, we should not have to worry like we are now." Chapter 207 Disadvantages. After Bai Luo's words came out, they didn't have any intention of resisting. Zio too nodded, agreeing with Bai Luo's idea, so they continued to eat in that place, and the whole atmosphere was very peaceful. The ancestor could feel that he was like an outsider in this place, but he didn't want to integrate into this group. What he wanted to do was just to take Ao Yangzu and Ao Yangchen away from this place. The rest had nothing to do with him, so the ancestor would not care too much. The ancestor now maintained this idea. After Bai Luo finished his meal, he said to them, "Then follow the arrangement in the morning. I will watch here for half a night, and then you will go to rest. We have already planned it, so let's do it now." In fact, it would be enough for one person to watch here, but Zio too felt that after all, he was one of these people, so he naturally couldn't do nothing and just watch them here. So at this time, Zio too said to Bai Luo in that place, "You must be a little bored here alone, why don't I accompany you?" Unexpectedly, Zio too would take the initiative to say these things, and Bai Luo laughed. "Well, then you come with me." So the two of them stayed there. Ao Yangzu and Ao Yangchen left and returned to their room, while Bai Luo and Zio too stayed there. The ancestor went to the place where he rested. He didn't need a very good environment now. After all, in his current form, it was enough for him to stay in a place, so he didn't have to worry about these things. So after Ao Yangzu and Ao Yangchen said goodnight to the ancestor, they all returned to the room to rest. They didn't continue to say anything about these things. Now they are used to this normal state, so they can stay in this place more freely. Bai Luo and Xiao Tu started chatting outside. The two of them seemed to have endless topics to talk about, so when the two of them communicated, they were very harmonious, and they didn't quarrel over trivial matters like others thought. It was precisely because of this that Bai Luo still liked to be with Xiao Tu. Anyway, don't worry too much. We have already arrived at this place. We can only take things one step at a time. As long as we can reach that area, won't everything be over? When Xiao Tu said these words, he kept staring at Bai Luo. Bai Luo could feel that he was comforting himself in this place, so he laughed. Others may think that you will be unhappy because of these things, but only I know that you will definitely not be angry because of these things. On the contrary, you will understand me very well. After the two of them finished talking, they looked at each other tacitly, as if they were already used to the relationship between the two of them. At this time, the ancestor was on his side, secretly observing Bai Luo, fearing that he would miss it when Bai Luo took a break. At this time, the ancestor was staring at Bai Luo closely in that place, intending to wait until Bai Luo and the ancestor changed shifts, and then rush over to see Bai Luo's shortcomings. Chapter 208, Unable to get close. In this case, the ancestor only needs to find the shortcomings of Bai Luo and tell Yangzu and Yangchen. At that time, Yangzu and Yangchen will definitely follow him to leave. However, the ancestor at this time did not realize that all this was just his fantasy in this place. Because no matter what, Yangzu and Yangchen would not leave Bai Luo as he thought, especially because they all knew that Bai Luo did not have any shortcomings at all. They have known Bai Luo for such a long time. If Bai Luo had any shortcomings, they would have discovered them long ago. There is no need for the ancestor to discover them now. Therefore, the ancestor did all this. It was undoubtedly a waste of effort. Time passed quickly. The ancestor did not need to rest, so he kept staring at Bai Luo and the others in that place. He found that Bai Luo and the others were motionless in that place. He thought that the two of them were quite perseverant, so he did not say anything, but continued to watch in that place. Why don't you go and rest? I can only take action when he is alone in that place. Otherwise, if something else happens, it will be a bit bad. The ancestor was taking care of this place. He couldn't tear his face with Bai Luo on the surface. Otherwise, if he didn't find anything, how could he stay in this place? After thinking about this, the ancestor was doing his own thing carefully. At this time, Bai Luo and Xiao Tu sat in this place for a long time. Finally, it was time to change shifts. At this time, Yangzu and Yangchen got up consciously. They came outside and said to Bai Luo, "The time is up. You and Xiao Tu should go in and rest. You two have worked so hard." After hearing this, Xiao Tu laughed. "It's up to you to stay here from now on." So after they exchanged, Xiao Tu and Bai Luo went back to their place to rest, leaving Yangzu and Yangchen to guard the place. They were surprised to find that the ancestor had not rested yet, so they said to the ancestor, "Why don't you go to rest? Are you feeling unwell?" The two were afraid that the ancestor might have other things, so they hurriedly asked here. After hearing what they said, the ancestor said to them, "No, I just want to rest later. It's okay, you don't have to watch me. Besides, in my current state, I don't need too much rest. I just need to stay here." After hearing this, Yangzu and Yangchen looked at each other. As long as he no longer asked them to leave Bai Luo, then no matter what the ancestor did, they would not stop him. So they nodded and said nothing more. At this time, the ancestor secretly came to Bai Luo's place and found that Bai Luo was lying there to rest. He planned to wait until he fell asleep before going over to take a look. In this way, he could better detect some things. At this time, the ancestor was very patient and had no intention of being anxious. At this time, the ancestor was waiting for the best opportunity there. Once he found that opportunity, he could find out Bai Luo's shortcomings. At this time, Yangchen and the others were staying in front, and they had no idea what the ancestor was doing behind them. Yangzu and Yangchen would never have thought that the ancestor was actually in this place, trying to find Bai Luo's shortcomings. After a while, the ancestor finally saw that Bai Luo had fallen into a deep sleep, so he planned to get close to Bai Luo and check it carefully, but he didn't expect it to happen suddenly. An invisible force blocked him and prevented him from getting close to Bai Luo. This scared the ancestor. He didn't know what was going on, but he could clearly feel that the force was resisting him, so the ancestor looked at the sleeping Bai Luo in shock, not knowing what to say. This is really a bizarre thing. I can't even get close to him. This thing is tied to his body. This is too scary. The ancestor thought about these things at this time. He tried several times. No matter how he tried, he couldn't get close to Bai Luo. He had to give up and return to his place. The ancestor's search this time failed. With Bai Luo's strength, he couldn't get close, let alone probe his heart. So the ancestor finally realized this. The ancestor had to return to his place in disgrace and didn't do anything. Bai Luo was sleeping soundly and didn't know what was happening in the outside world. His strength had blocked the danger alone, so he didn't give the ancestor any chance. In this case, the ancestor could only watch from this place. Apart from that, he couldn't reach the level of attacking Bai Luo, so Bai Luo wouldn't realize these things at all. With the system in this place, these things are easily solved. And now, judging from Bai Luo's strength, this ancestor is not Bai Luo's opponent at all. So now Bai Luo can rest assured in this place without worrying about being disturbed by these things. The night was relatively peaceful. Gao Yangzu and Dao Yangchen, who were guarding outside, saw that the ancestor finally went to rest. They couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. They were both a little worried just now. If the ancestor kept talking about these things, they would have to find a way to get the ancestor to leave this place. The error-free version is available at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. Otherwise, it would be a bit bad to keep following them, especially since the two of them would not confront Bai Luo. Then everything the ancestor just said to them would not come true, so they had to save these ideas for the time being. If that day really comes, they decided to do the next thing. So when it was almost dawn, Bai Luo had woken up, and seeing Yangzu and Yangchen were still full of energy, he said to them, "Why don't you two go to sleep for a while? I'll go take a look around here. We are about to leave this city and head to the next place, but we have to figure out which direction to go, so it should take some time." After hearing what Bai Luo said, Gao Yangzu and Dao Yangchen looked at each other. Although they were not so tired now, if they could rest for a while, it would naturally be good for their mental recovery. So they nodded and said to Bai Luo, "Then thank you for your trouble. We will go to rest first and then come out to meet up with you." After hearing this, Bai Luo didn't care about anything. After all, they were all friends, and these things were just a piece of cake. Chapter 209 Magnetic Field. Moreover, Bai Luo really needed to explore the surrounding environment, so at this time, Bai Luo looked at the little rabbit who was still sleeping soundly in that place, and went there by himself without thinking of waking him up. At this time, the ancestor had already woken up, and the two of them exchanged glances. Bai Luo seemed to be unaware of what happened last night. The ancestor was a little surprised, because he did not expect that Bai Luo could be so calm to him. Logically speaking, Bai Luo should have known what he did last night. He originally thought that he would be questioned by Bai Luo when he got up this morning, but he did not expect that Bai Luo would treat him as usual, as if nothing had happened. At this time, the ancestor could not help but be very confused, but it was difficult to say anything. Since Bai Luo treated all this as if nothing had happened, the ancestor could only stay here slowly. He could no longer think of asking Yangzu and Yangchen to leave this place. The ancestor had no way to change all this, so he might as well accept it. Otherwise, it might bring unnecessary trouble to the two of them. So now that the ancestor finally realized this, he quietly waited in that place. Bai Luo went to the other side at this time. He wanted to detect which direction they should go after leaving this city. However, Bai Luo stood there for a long time and found that, no matter what he did, he could not find the exact location. The first detection was a direction. In order to make sure there was no problem, Bai Luo detected it again. Unexpectedly, the second detection was completely different from the first one. This was beyond Bai Luo's expectation. Bai Luo originally thought that there would be no problem, but now he had a doubt about this environment, so Bai Luo stopped detecting, and detected this place. To Bai Luo's surprise, the magnetic field nearby was quite special. No wonder Bai Luo didn't find any direction just now. It was because of the influence of the magnetic field here that it was easy to get lost in this place. If Bai Luo and his friends wanted to leave this place, they would easily encounter danger by themselves. If they could find someone to take them out of this place, it would be good. Then they were destined to find a local to take them out. Otherwise, they would go to the opposite direction. Because of the influence of this magnetic field, Bai Luo had no way to change it, so he thought about it and decided to go back and discuss with Ao Yangzu and Ao Yangchen. See if the people in the nearby city can guide them and take them away from this place so that they can reach the last area. At this time, Bai Luo remembered this and returned to the original position. At this time, Ao Yangzu and Ao Yangchen were still sleeping inside. Bai Luo sat there, took out the food from his arms, looked at it again, and found that it was enough for them to use. So Bai Luo was not nervous at this time. As long as these things were enough for them to use, it would be fine. Now Bai Luo was more cautious to do these things. He was afraid that he would make some wrong choices, which would affect their future life in this place. So Bai Luo planned to wait until Ao Yangzu and others woke up before telling them these things, so Bai Luo stayed there quietly without saying anything. After a while, the sun had completely come out. Ao Yangzu, the ancestor, and Ao Yangchen came outside as if they had just woken up. When they saw Bai Luo coming back, Ao Yangzu, the ancestor, and Ao Yangchen stepped forward and said to Bai Luo, "Why did you come back so early? Have you detected where we are going next? Are we delayed in our trip?" At this time, Ao Yangzu and Ao Yangchen hurriedly asked Bai Luo at that place, fearing that they would delay Bai Luo's plan. After hearing this, Bai Luo laughed and said to them, "No, it was actually quite smooth. It's just that, when I went out just now, I found something that shocked me. It seems that we can't rely on our own strength to get out next, because I found that the magnetic field here will affect our ability to distinguish directions. That is to say, if we rely on ourselves, we will get lost when we go out, and there is no way to get out of this place smoothly. We must find someone who can distinguish directions in this city and let him take us out. In this way, we can successfully reach our destination. Otherwise, it is very likely that we will make efforts, but the final result will be wrong." After hearing this, Ao Yangzu and Ao Yangchen were a little shocked. They didn't expect these things to happen, but since it had already happened, they couldn't do anything about it, so they nodded. "Well, let's go to the city and ask. Didn't we see someone living here yesterday? The people here must be familiar with the environment here, so as long as we find a few people who are familiar with the environment and take us, there should be no problem." After hearing this, Bai Luo nodded and didn't say anything else. He felt that this was right. With reliable candidates, they didn't have to worry about any problems. So now they can stay here so calmly because they realize this. Bai Luo said to them, "Let's eat something first. After eating, we will go around here to find someone who can act as a guide for us and take us out of this place. In this way, we don't have to worry about the next problem." After saying this, Ao Yangzu and Ao Yangchen didn't say anything. Zio too listened to Bai Luo's analysis and said to Bai Luo, "Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR first published this novel. With our strength, it should be easy to find those people, and with us here, they dare not do anything." Zio too said this to tell Bai Luo that when they find the person, they must be on guard against him. When he is there, they can better guard against those guys. At this time, Bai Luo smiled at Zio too. "Of course, I know that with you here, these things are easy to solve, and we will certainly trust you." After saying this, the little rabbit was satisfied and didn't say anything else. They finally understood these things thoroughly. So several people have made plans to find some people later. In this city, there are naturally some people living. Although there are forces from the demon realm here, they cannot leave this home where they depend on for survival. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 210 Guide. Since this place can't pose any big threat to them now, they will of course live here for a long time. It is precisely because of the special magnetic field here that a new profession has been added, that is, the guide. Help people who come to this city to leave this place easily and not let them get lost. If Bai Luo and his friends want to find it, it should be easy, but not everyone is a good person, so they must be cautious and ask for instructions. Only in this way will they not be deceived. Otherwise, they will definitely be affected by these things. In this case, Bai Luo and his friends must choose carefully, but Bai Luo and his friends are just like what Xiaota said just now. Don't care too much, anyway, no matter what kind of person, they can subdue it. So after they finished their meal, Bai Luo took them to another place where more humans lived. After they arrived there, they began to search around, and found that those people were sitting there, seemingly living their own lives. They didn't know where to go to look at this time, so Bai Luo had to ask the local residents there to see if there was a guide here to help them go to the last area. They were all a little shocked when they heard where Bai Luo and his friends were going. Where are you going? It will be very difficult to get there from here. Have you really thought about it? After hearing their questions, Bai Luo and Ao Hangzhu looked at each other and laughed. Since it is our choice, of course we have thought about it a long time ago, so we want to see if there is anyone who can be our guide. Money is not a problem, as long as we can get there accurately. Bai Luo's arrogance will naturally attract some people's attention, so at this time, there is a person on the side who said to Bai Luo and the others, "Do you want to go to that place? I know a group of people and I can introduce them to you." After hearing this, Bai Luo was a little happy. He looked at the person who was talking and said to him, "Really? If there are really such people, please introduce them to us. We will never treat them unfairly in this place. We will give them the due compensation and there will be no omissions." After hearing this, the person nodded. "Well, then you guys come with me. I'll take you there. They're just ahead. When we get there, you guys can talk in detail." After saying this, Bai Luo followed the man, followed by Ao Hangzhu and Xiaota. The first ancestor was very quiet at this moment, since he found out last night that he couldn't hurt Bai Luo, no matter what he did. The first ancestor had given up and stopped saying anything, just quietly following them. The first ancestor knew that he had no way to get Ao Hangzhu and Ao Hangchen to leave Bai Luo, so he had better keep following them so that he could guarantee their safety for the time being. When the little rabbit saw that the first ancestor was so quiet, he couldn't help but said to him in that place, "What's the matter? Why are you so quiet? Didn't you keep talking in that place some time ago? What's going on now?" Suddenly hearing someone calling his name, the first ancestor looked at the little rabbit and said to him, "I just thought about some things. There is no big problem." Realizing that he didn't want to talk about these things, the little rabbit stopped in time and didn't continue on this topic. From this point, it can be seen that the little rabbit is very knowledgeable about the ways of the world. It just depends on whether he is willing to do it. Now they can stay in this place peacefully because they have become accustomed to these things. Now they can get along well in this place without worrying about any problems. Now they just need to wait for the final arrival here. Bai Luo followed the man and came to a house. He found that there were several people resting there. When they saw Bai Luo and his men coming, they immediately became alert. However, they obviously knew the man who led the way. The leader said to him, "What are you doing? Why did you suddenly bring several people here?" After hearing this, the man told them that Bai Luo wanted to go to that place and wanted to find someone to lead the way. "Can't you go? I'm bringing you business. Do you think this is not a good thing?" After hearing this, the man immediately put on a smile and said in that place, "So you are a customer? Of course you can. Do you want to go to that place? We have been there before. Of course we can guide you." Bai Luo saw that the man's face changed so quickly and he couldn't help but sigh in his heart. He was indeed very capable and even so proficient in changing his face. However, Bai Luo said this because he didn't want to cause too much trouble, otherwise he wouldn't show it. Bai Luo breathed a sigh of relief and said to him, if you can take us there, that would be the best. We have only one request, that is, there must not be any accidents. I will pay you enough money. You don't have to worry about this. I have already said it, so there will be no problem. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR first published this novel. After hearing this, the man laughed. Of course, looking at your looks, I know that you will never lie, so you don't have to say it. I can naturally believe you. You don't have to worry too much. Just follow us. In this way, Bai Luo and his friends decided to use this group of people as their guides. But when these people turned their backs to Bai Luo, they all showed evil smiles on their faces. The reason why they agreed so happily this time was, of course, not just to take a job, but they planned to go treasure hunting. They had heard that there were many treasures in that place a long time ago, and their job was to steal treasures. Now they have received a place with the same ambitions as them, so they are naturally very happy, and these people may become their cannon fodder at that time. With these people blocking in front, the legendary traps before the treasure can be broken through by these people. After they are killed by the damage caused by the traps, they can spend the time there peacefully and finally get the treasure they want. After thinking of this, they couldn't help but get excited, but they couldn't show it too obviously, to make Bai Luo and the others suspicious, so they all stayed there quietly, and continued to do what they should do. Chapter 211 Getting Started. Since they had already confirmed with Bai Luo and the others, they planned to continue packing up, so that they could go on the road with Bai Luo and the others. So the man turned around and said to Bai Luo, excuse me, are you planning to go out now, or will it take some time? If it's now, then we can pack up. After hearing this, Bai Luo said to them, of course it's now. If it's now, the sooner we set out, the sooner we can get there. You all pack up, and let's leave this place. With them as guides, Bai Luo could easily leave this place, so now Bai Luo didn't speculate on their intentions. As long as he could leave this place safely, that would be fine. As for what happened next, Bai Luo would of course watch it. If there was anything wrong, he would notice it at the first time, and change it at that time. Now they were all following Bai Luo in that place. Yao Yangzu came to Bai Luo's side, and said to him, can we really trust these people? They won't do anything on the way, right? After hearing this, Bao Yangchen said to Bao Yangzu, don't worry, I know something about these things. I've been to that place before, and I still remember the general route. If they dare to have any bad intentions, I will definitely notice it. Bao Yangzu's doubts were dispelled by Bao Yangchen. After hearing Bao Yangchen's words, Bai Luo breathed a sigh of relief. That's good. If they really dare to fool us, we can just stop them as soon as possible. Zio too listened to them and agreed with their views. With their strength, it was still easy to deal with the few young boys in front of them. Obviously, they didn't realize how strong Bai Luo and his men were, so they were complacent in this place. Zio could see that these people had ulterior motives. As long as they didn't do anything evil, Zio naturally didn't want to attack them. After all, it would be too easy to dirty his hands. So Zio and the others waited for them to pack their luggage and began to follow behind them. At this time, the leader said to Bai Luo, follow us. Since we are your guides, I will lead you forward. No matter where you go, please trust my judgment. I will definitely take you to the final destination. After saying this, Bai Luo and the others nodded and followed him out of the city. After seeing them leave, those people didn't say anything. In their opinion, they all thought that Bai Luo was crazy for doing this. Anyone who had seen the terrifying things there knew what was hidden there, so when they saw Bai Luo like this, they were all thinking about it. The world is so unpredictable. Someone actually plans to go to such a horrible place. I hope they can come back safely. Otherwise, there will definitely be huge problems. However, those people held the attitude that it was none of their business and they just worried about Bai Luo and the others. The rest of the things had nothing to do with them, and they would not care. So they did not care about anything because of these outsiders. They just quietly did what they wanted to do. From these things, it can be felt that they really did not care about the problems of Bai Luo and the others. So Bai Luo relaxed after they left the city. Finally, they came out of this maze. When they came in, Bai Luo had never thought that such a thing would happen. So at this time, Bai Luo looked at Yangzu and the others on the side and found that they felt the same as him. Bai Luo laughed. It seems that we have to leave this place quickly, otherwise, we don't know what problems will happen because of these things. Now that they have confirmed this, they just need to follow these guides. So now Bai Luo's doubts have been dispelled, and now they can move forward in this place safely. As long as they don't do something they shouldn't do to them, Bai Luo will get through it all calmly. After they left the city, they came outside. Bai Luo found that he seemed to no longer be disturbed by those things, but it was still impossible to correctly judge the direction. However, the few people in front of them walked very steadily, and they seemed very sure that they would never go wrong. Now Bai Luo couldn't help but be curious about these things. Why were these people not disturbed by this magnetic field and could successfully judge the correct location? So Bai Luo went up and talked with them there. After hearing what they said, the leader understood Bai Luo's doubts and said to him, "It's like this. We are not completely unaffected by these things, but because we have walked through this place too many times, we can walk through these roads with our eyes closed, so we will not be affected by anything. But for outsiders like you, if you experience the interference of these magnetic fields, you will have the situation you just mentioned, where you can't be sure where you are. This is of course normal. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel. It's just that we have been trained for a period of time and have already been reborn. That's why it's like this. You don't have to worry too much." After hearing this, Bai Luo breathed a sigh of relief. Otherwise, he really doubted whether there was a problem with his strength. Otherwise, it stands to reason that such a thing should not happen. After hearing this, Bai Luo did not say anything, but walked quietly in that place. Those people would communicate with Bai Luo from time to time, asking Bai Luo and what they were going to do when they arrived at that place. But Bai Luo just smiled and said to them, "We have some things, but it is not convenient to say it." Those people did not ask any more questions. They were quite tactful. They knew that if they asked more questions, there would be problems, so they stopped in time and did not say any more extra nonsense. Otherwise, Bai Luo and his friends would definitely feel a little impatient. After all, these things are private. If these people insist on talking about them in this place, they will feel a little uncomfortable. So now they will move forward carefully in this place. Bai Luo kept an eye on Yangzu and their situation from time to time. If they felt uncomfortable, they would stop and rest for a while. But Bai Luo and his friend's physical strength was really good, so even if they walked for a day, they would not feel tired. Chapter 212, Strange. Their physical strength naturally made those people understand that it seemed that these people were not so easy to deal with. They knew at this time that they had to be careful to treat Bai Luo. After all, looking at the appearance of Bai Luo and his men, they were definitely not ordinary people. If they were still complacent in this place and thought that they could easily deal with Bai Luo and his men, then they would be truly careless. Even if these people realized all this now, it was not too late. They just needed to persevere in this place, then this would not be a problem. So after saying this, they gradually understood these things. As long as someone could provide them with some help, they would definitely be able to deal with Bai Luo and his men. Bai Luo saw that they were still honest, so he did not pay too much attention to them, but looked at the surrounding terrain. After they came out of the city, they finally came to a place closer to the last area. Because Bai Luo believed that, as long as they persisted for a while, they could reach the final location, so at that time they would not have to worry about any problems. It depended on whether they could find the place in the first place. If they could, they would not have to waste too much time. If not, it may take some time to transition, especially since Bai Luo is not sure about these things now. When he does these things, he is more worried, unlike others who can easily put these things in their hearts. At this time, Yao Yangzu and Yao Yangchen walked beside him and communicated with Bai Luo from time to time. Now our worries have been solved by more than half. We don't have to worry like before. As long as we can stay in this place, it will be a good thing for us. Even if they want to do something here, they have to ask about our strength first. Now Ao Hangzhu and Ao Hangchen have become Bai Luo's servants, especially what Bai Luo said. They actually agreed, and the ancestor no longer wanted to provoke their relationship. Now Ao Hangzhu and Ao Hangchen can communicate with Bai Luo in this place without worrying about anything. They don't have to worry about anything in the future, so they are naturally relieved. Otherwise, they are really afraid that Bai Luo will hear something he shouldn't hear. At that time, they would misunderstand that it was their own intention. In fact, both of them were a little speechless. Who knows what the ancestor is thinking? Fortunately, he has stopped talking now. The ancestor followed by the side and could see that these people who led the way were not that simple. Looking at their appearance, we know that they have ulterior motives. Otherwise, how could they agree to this journey so happily? Moreover, although they are leading the way in front, the ancestor always feels that they seem to have their eyes on the group of people behind them, which must be a more powerful conspiracy. At this time, Ao Hangchen was staring at them all the time, because he was the only one among these people who knew the way to the last area, so at this time he had to keep a close eye on these people, and the original intention of these people who led the way was not to take Bai Luo there. Instead, they wanted to take them to another place, to the place where they were going to steal the treasure. In this way, they could drag Bai Luo and others to be scapegoats, and they could reap the benefits and successfully escape from that place. Now Bai Luo and the others didn't know about their thoughts, so they were still kept in the dark and followed them in that place. The leader was so happy at this time. I didn't expect these people to be so easy to fool. I thought it would take some time to convince them, but they really didn't have any sense of crisis and believed our words. It seems that our lies this time have really fooled them. After saying this, they didn't go into any place at this time. They used their inner ability to communicate. Bai Luo could feel that there was an abnormal energy fluctuation around them. He scanned and found that those people were very calm, as if the things around them had nothing to do with them. Although Bai Luo had some doubts about them, there was not much evidence now, so he could only let them walk in that place. During the whole process, Bai Luo was communicating with that person. That person was very calm, even though he was now thinking about how to lead them into his trap. On the surface, they were still in that place, talking to Bai Luo clearly, so that Bai Luo could dispel his doubts about him. Don't worry, everyone. Although it takes a long time to get there, we will definitely take you there. After all, you have all paid, so we will naturally complete your tasks. When the man said this, he also showed a kind smile, not knowing where he was going to take them. In this way, their wish can finally be realized, and they can take away the long coveted treasure, and then they don't have to worry about the manipulation of those terrible mechanisms. They can return from that place safely, and all of this, the little rabbit now actually saw it. He just didn't say it, because he could feel that these humans were not so good. After all, as an ancient beast, he has seen countless humans, and some people can be seen at a glance. Even if they disguise themselves well, they can't hide their hearts, so as long as they say more or do more, they can be seen at once. The difference between them and others. This is why the little rabbit has not spoken all the time. They haven't revealed their feet yet, so let's see how long they can hold on. Once they are really exposed, then it will be the time for him to really take action against these people. That's why the little rabbit is walking steadily in that place now. Bai Luo felt that the little rabbit seemed to have bumped into him. He looked at the little rabbit, not knowing what the little rabbit meant, and the little rabbit laughed. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. I bumped into you by accident. Let's keep going. Aren't we in a hurry? Do you want to stop and rest for a while? Bai Luo had this idea. After they came out of the city, they walked outside for almost a day. Although they were very strong, they at least needed a good rest. So Bai Luo said to the little rabbit at this time, you said we should take a break. Although no one is tired, I think we should replenish our abilities appropriately. Chapter 213 follow. After hearing this, Xiao too didn't have any objection, so he said to Bai Luo, of course, it all depends on your idea. After all, we all listen to you. If you feel like taking a break, just tell them directly, and everyone will follow your arrangement. After hearing what Xiaotu said, Bai Luo also gained confidence, so he said to them at that place, "Everyone stop and take a break. We have been traveling for half a day. Although you didn't say anything, I think we still need to take a good rest." After hearing this, everyone looked back at Bai Luo, Dao Yangchen and Dao Yangzu, who looked at each other and felt that what Bai Luo said made some sense, so they nodded and then returned to Bai Luo's side and said to Bai Luo, "But there is nothing nearby. Are we still in this place, with the sky as a roof and the earth as a house?" After hearing this question, Bai Luo laughed. "Isn't this possible? Anyway, it's not like we haven't experienced this before, so let's do it the same way today. You two can rest here, and then the people in front will stop. We can rest first, and then continue on our way." After hearing this, Gao Yangzu agreed to Bai Luo's words. He remembered that Bai Luo had given them 2 tents, so he took them out. It was enough for them to rest in this place. Besides, it was daytime now, so there was no need to worry too much. In the middle of the night, they might have to continue on their way. At this time, Bai Luo walked to the side of the people leading the way and said to them, "We want to rest for a while now. Are you sure you can continue to walk tonight? Or can you continue as usual at night?" Bai Luo had this question because he wanted to see how long they would rest. If they could change the route at night, then they could stop soon now, so that they could replenish their physical strength. If they couldn't do that at night, then they would walk for a while. Then, when it was completely dark, they would find a place to rest at random. At this time, those who led the way certainly didn't want to delay the journey. After all, the sooner they got there, the sooner they could get those treasures. These people had already become cannon fodder in their eyes. So when they heard Bai Luo's words, they couldn't understand it, but they couldn't make things too awkward. So they said to Bai Luo at that place, "If you want to rest, of course you can. Then we'll rest here for a while. At night, we have night lights and some things that can be illuminated. As long as you don't mind being tired, we can hurry on at night, but everything will be at your disposal. If you are willing to change the route, then tell us. We are all used to it, so we will definitely not refuse anything." After hearing this, Bai Luo already understood what they meant, so he nodded and didn't ask any more questions. "Okay, I get it. Thank you for your hard work. Since we can travel tonight, let's rest here for a while, and then we will set off again later." After hearing this, they didn't say much. Some people sat down there. Judging from their appearance, they should have their own equipment, so it would be convenient for them to rest there. Bai Luo saw that they had quite a complete set of things. Thinking that they might not have enough, he didn't give them anything, but returned to his seat. At this time, Gao Yangzu and Dao Yangchen saw Bai Luo coming back and said to Bai Luo, "Did they say they can rest? If possible, let's rest here for a while." After hearing this, Bai Luo smiled at them. They said that we can rest now and we can continue to travel at night. So I think that we should rest for a while and then set off after dark. Is that okay? We should be able to continue to move forward at night, right? Xiaotu was a little puzzled, so he said to Bai Luo, "We don't have to be so anxious. Although time is tight now, it may be a bit tiring if we rush on the road." After hearing what Xiaotu said, Bai Luo understood what he meant and smiled at him. "Don't worry, if you are tired, you can just lie on my back and I will carry you." Xiaotu quickly agreed. "That's fine, with someone carrying me, I can walk as long as I want." Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 = 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. After seeing that Xiaotu's doubts had been resolved, Bai Luo turned his attention to Ao Yangzu, Dao Yangchen and the ancestor. The ancestor did not realize at this time that those people were listening to his answer. He was still there thinking about the origins of Bai Luo when he suddenly felt a series of burning gazes resting on him. This frightened the first ancestor. He raised his head quickly and found that Bai Luo, Ao Yangzu and Dao Yangchen were all looking at him. He was so frightened that he didn't know what to say. He could only ask in doubt, "Why are you looking at me all the time? What happened?" After hearing this, Ao Yangzu said to him, "No senior. We want to ask you, can you keep on going? We shouldn't rest tonight, but we will rest for a while now, so we may set off as usual in the evening." If you can't accept it, we may replan this plan. The first ancestor thought that as the main body of the soul, these things would not cause much harm to him, and it was completely fine to keep on going. So he said to Iangzu, just do everything as you want. In fact, you don't have to worry too much about my feelings. As long as I don't take the initiative to tell you that I need help or advice, you don't have to ask me again and again for the rest. I can do it. After hearing this, they didn't know what kind of trouble would arise, so they said to him, okay, then we know. We will stay here well. So they all sat down there to rest, and at this time they all started to eat to replenish their energy. Bai Luo sat there, and the little rabbit pretended not to see it, and continued to stare at the group of people. The leaders were still some distance away from Bai Luo and the others, so they deliberately spoke in a low voice, so that Bai Luo and the others could not hear them. Boss, we will definitely be able to bring them in this time. These people are so powerful. As long as we trick them into the mechanism, they will definitely be trapped by the mechanism. Then those treasures will be available to us whenever we want. Chapter 214 Dark Knight. Don't be too ostentatious. Now I feel like I have discovered something. If you still show off like this, you will be caught red-handed. Do you really think these things can be solved quickly? You are really joking here. After saying this, they couldn't help but complain at that time. And from this formation, it can be seen that they have a certain understanding of these things. Otherwise, it wouldn't be like this. So now they finally realize this, and were able to stay here so calmly. Anyway, these things are a huge problem for us. So I tell you here, there is no other meaning. Just to tell you, don't think they are easy to deal with. We must treat them as our powerful enemies. Only in this way can we really get our own interests from them. Otherwise, once the bottom is cleared, we will become their stepping stones. Anyway, don't expose your ambitions too early. Wait for the right time, and I will tell you naturally at that time. After hearing this man say this, those people nodded and hurriedly acted according to what he said. They did not continue to talk about this topic, but talked about some ordinary things to dispel Bai Luo and others' doubts. Otherwise, Bai Luo and others would definitely think, what are they doing in this place? They have been gathering and talking in secret in that place. Maybe they are plotting some conspiracy. So they will end this topic as soon as possible. If it lasts for a long time, it will arouse Bai Luo and others' suspicion. Xiao too looked at them and could hear what they said, and he knew them well in his heart. Bai Luo didn't need to do anything. He could do it all by himself. And according to their trend, they should be exposed soon. After all, Bao Yangchen could slowly feel the difference between them. Since they were going to reach the last area, these people would definitely lead them the wrong way in order to get to their place. In this way, the longer it took, the easier it would be to be discovered. So Xiao lay there peacefully. Since Bai Luo said that everything would depend on him, he could spend it easily without being bored in that place. Finally, there was a better result. So Xiao stayed there contentedly. When Bai Luo turned around and wanted to give Xiao some food, he found that he had fallen asleep. He couldn't help but look at Iangzu helplessly. You said he is like this every day. Can he really help us? After hearing this, the three of them laughed and continued to chat there. After a while, they had rested enough. The leader came to Bai Luo and said to him, can we set off now? We have rested enough. If you still feel uncomfortable, you can rest for a while, but it is getting dark now. We can't wait until it is completely dark to leave here, so we have to move forward as much as possible. Go to a slightly safer place, so that we can spend the whole night. After hearing this, Bai Luo understood what he meant. Seeing those things, he knew what those things were used for, so they didn't say anything more at this time. Everyone stood up. When Bai Luo came back, he said to them, since everyone has stood up, it's just right that we are going to leave. After resting for a long time, everyone must have recovered some physical strength, so let's continue to set off and go to the last place. After hearing this, they all nodded to each other. It can be seen from their expressions that they are now accustomed to these things, so they can do it so calmly. If it were someone else, it is unknown what effect would be achieved. Those people couldn't say anything because of these things. They were afraid that something bad would happen. Now they all understood what these things were, so they started to act in that place. These people finally determined the time to carry out those tasks, so they had to wait until tomorrow morning to completely solve them. As long as they developed slowly bit by bit, these people who had never been there would never find out. Unfortunately, they missed one person. Gao Yangchen really remembered the map, but the details were not very clear, but the general direction was definitely not wrong. So as long as they deviated slightly, Gao Yangchen would find out that this would completely expose their identities. Unfortunately, these people didn't realize the danger at all and thought that no one knew what the route was, so they started to walk in that place. Because it was dark, it was not easy to see what was in front of them. Although there was no rain and other things that affected Bai Luo and others, the efficiency of rushing in the dark was still a little lower. After all, they had to look around to see what was around, for fear of being bumped into. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus underscore. Otherwise, who knows what kind of attack they will suffer. It is precisely because of this that they will do these things carefully. As long as they can pass smoothly, these things will be truly smooth for them. At this time, they will make such a move, and these things now prove that they do this on purpose, and they have no other ideas at all. It's like this at night. It's very dark, so everyone must follow us closely. After all, we are the beacon of your guidance. If you go wrong, then there is no way to get on the right track. After hearing this, those people at this time did not say anything, but followed closely behind the people who led the way. Bai Luo's words made sense. In this situation, where it was impossible to see the road clearly, it was better to follow these people, so Bai Luo followed behind them. They did not rest all night and crossed a long distance before they walked out of the woods. At this time, Bai Luo felt that the air was fresher. Seeing the sun slowly rising, Bai Luo thought that this night was finally over. Although he did not encounter any major danger last night, Bai Luo truly felt the danger of moving forward in the dark. Therefore, he realized this thoroughly and expressed such emotion. Otherwise, Bai Luo would not have become what he is now. Chapter 215 Calm. Fortunately, the development of the matter was smoother than they had imagined, and Bai Luo did not have to worry as much as he did at the beginning. So they all breathed a sigh of relief at this time, and the people walking in front were even happier. As long as they passed through this forest, they would be closer to the place where they were going to take Bai Luo and the others, which meant that they would soon get the treasure they wanted. When these people talked, they could not help but be a little excited, and seeing their actions, Bai Luo naturally noticed that something was wrong. But he did not care, because he could not find out the reason why they did this, and he could not be sure that what they did was wrong. So Bai Luo continued to walk in that place, and those people at this time said to Bai Luo and the others, "We have passed the most dangerous time yesterday. Next, during the day, the next things will be very easy, because there is still a distance to the place you want to go, so everyone still needs to persevere a little." After hearing this, Bai Luo and the others nodded. It can be seen that they are still quite cooperative with these things. Even after hearing what they said, the few people at this time did not have any intention of refusing, but agreed with them very much. So at this time, Bai Luo was there, smiling and telling them, "Then do as you said, don't worry about anything, we will follow your arrangements." After hearing this, the two people nodded and didn't say anything else. From their actions like this, it can be felt that they seem to be doing something secret. But Bai Luo didn't care too much and continued to walk in that place. After they came out of the forest, they came to an open grassland, and on this grassland, there were naturally some buildings. However, there was no one in the building, so Bai Luo and his team did not plan to go forward to check. They could only look at this place little by little to see if they could make a breakthrough. Otherwise, they did not know whether they could leave this place. In this way, for the two of them, there is also a relatively large risk. Unless someone can settle these things, there will definitely be bigger problems. Especially now that they have a certain understanding of these things. The current ancestor followed behind them. Now Bai Luo is also in that place, walking safely and looking at those scattered buildings. He couldn't help but have the idea of going inside to see if there is anything else. At this time, the people who led the way said to Bai Luo, "For these places we are not sure about, it is better not to go there, because we don't know what is hidden in them. Once we go wrong, it is easy to find something from inside, so everyone must follow us, don't go in different directions." Those people deliberately emphasize this point, just to let Bai Luo follow them all the time, so that they can realize their plan. Bai Luo and the others also felt that what they said made sense, so they stopped observing the surrounding environment and walked quietly in that place. At this time, Bao Yangchen felt that something was wrong. He always felt that there seemed to be something wrong with the route these people took, but he had no way to be completely sure. He could only wait and see if there would be any doubts after walking for a while. At this time, Bao Yangchen was already suspicious because he had been to that place before, so he was familiar with this route. After walking for a long time, he did not see the things in his consciousness, but became more and more unfamiliar. How could this not make Bao Yangchen suspicious? However, Bao Yangchen also understood that this was not a good time to alert the enemy, so he had to see clearly before taking action. Otherwise, once there was a problem, there might be some misunderstandings and time. They walked quietly in that place, and Bai Luo chatted with them while walking. While talking, he found that they had actually brought many people out of that place. It seems that the city they went to was really a very strange place. They had to rely on people to get out of it, otherwise they would be trapped in it. This was really a troublesome thing. "We have enough experience. You don't have to worry at all. We will reach your destination soon. Please trust us." When those people said this, they all had smiles on their faces. It can be seen that they were very friendly, so Bai Luo didn't ask any more questions, otherwise he would always feel that he was disturbing them. But Yangchen felt that under the smiles of these people, he didn't know what kind of hypocrisy was hidden, because he found that this road was getting more and more wrong. He didn't dare to say anything just now, but when he saw those scattered buildings, he could be sure that they were basically in the opposite direction. In other words, they didn't lead them in the direction that Bai Luo had planned at the beginning, but took them to different directions. In other words, these people didn't want to take them to the last area, and they should have their own selfish motives. At this time, they were still following them in that place, not knowing that they had stepped into the trap of these people, and they didn't know where they were going to take them. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus underscore. But what Yangchen knew was that these people definitely didn't want to do anything good to them. After all, if they were really normal, they would take them directly to the last place instead of secretly changing the route. These people didn't know the way, and they still did this. It was obvious that they were deliberately taking them to the wrong place in this place. Who knows what kind of conspiracy is hidden behind it? So at this time, Bao Yangchen began to want to communicate with Bai Luo, and at this time, the leader seemed to notice something, called Bai Luo, asked him to come over, and said to tell him something. After seeing Bai Luo pass by, Bao Yangchen didn't rush, but waited there, waiting for Bai Luo to come back, and then told him these things. "Otherwise, I really don't know what these people are going to do behind their backs." At this time, Bao Yangchen stared at the backs of them standing with Bai Luo, and felt that these people were more and more strange. No wonder these people kept emphasizing that they must follow them and not look elsewhere. It might be to prevent them from being attracted by other things and find that they are walking on a road of no return. After Yangchen recognized these, he tugged at Yangzu's sleeve. Yangzu felt Yangchen's touch and turned back, staring at him in confusion, wondering what was wrong with him. At this time, Bao Yangchen secretly leaned over to Yangzu's ear and told her what he had seen. After hearing what Yangzu said, her face changed drastically. Chapter 216. No. After hearing Yangchen's words, Yangzu still had some disbelief. It seemed that he had not expected such a problem to happen. He understood that, if it was really as Yangchen said, then these people wanted to take them to another direction. Of course, they could not alert the enemy now. They had to ensure that the secret they had discovered was not known to them. So at this time, Bao Yangchen winked at Yangzu, telling them not to reveal too much, otherwise, they didn't know what would happen. Bai Luo was still talking to them in that place, and had no idea about the changes that happened later. Gao Yangzu understood that it seemed that things were really more complicated than they imagined. Fortunately, Dao Yangchen was here, and he could see through it quickly. Otherwise, he didn't know what would happen. At this time, Gao Yangzu could only wait for Bai Luo to come back and tell him about this matter, because they had to let Bai Luo know about this matter now. Only in this way could they really let Bai Luo solve all this. After all, they would listen to Bai Luo's words, and they would complete what Bai Luo asked them to do. After Bai Luo talked to them for a while, he smiled and said to them, "You will need to confirm the following matters by yourselves. As long as you are sure that there are no major problems, we will not have any dissatisfaction." When Bai Luo said these words, he had no idea what kind of mystery this was. He said goodbye to those people and asked them to continue to lead the way in front while he returned there. As soon as Bai Luo returned, he found that Dao Yangzu and Dao Yangchen looked at him with very strange eyes, which made Bai Luo stunned. What on earth was going on? Why did they suddenly become like this? Could it be that something happened somewhere? So Bai Luo walked to Dao Yangzu's side and said to him, "What's wrong with you? Are you feeling uncomfortable?" After seeing his expression, Bai Luo couldn't help but wonder. After hearing these words, those people turned around to see what happened here. Seeing that they had turned around, Gao Yangzu said to Bai Luo, "We just discovered something, and it is necessary to tell you." So Dao Yangzu looked at Dao Yangchen, and Dao Yangchen came to Bai Luo's side and talked to him at this place. "I found that the route these people took us was wrong. That is to say, if we keep following this route, we will not be able to reach the final area we want to go to. Where exactly are they going to take us? I have no way of knowing. I can only be sure of one thing, that is, they definitely want to attack us, because if they have no hostility, they will not take us to another place, so all this must be planned by them. We still have to ask in advance. If we continue to walk, we may be farther and farther away from our original destination." After Dao Yangchen said this, Bai Luo was a little unbelievable. He didn't expect these people to dare to deceive them in this place, so Bai Luo asked Dao Yangchen again. Dao Yangchen told Bai Luo that he must have remembered it correctly because he was too familiar with this route and felt that it was not normal, so he told Bai Luo directly that this direction was wrong. At this moment, Bai Luo suddenly became angry, and he said directly to the people in front, "Let's stop for a moment, I have something to ask you." After hearing this, those people stopped, wondering what was wrong with Bai Luo. He was still talking to them in this place just now, but those people didn't expect that Bai Luo and the others already knew that they had taken them to another place. They were still there, smiling at Bai Luo and saying, "What's wrong with you? Is there a problem? You can just tell us, and we will change it now." Seeing their hypocritical appearance, Bai Luo felt it was a bit ridiculous, so he said to them, "You should know what you did. Don't act like you have no reason in this place. Where did you take us? Tell us the truth. Is it true? We don't know what you did. You dare to take me to another direction. It seems that you really don't know how to stay in this place." When Bai Luo said these words, there was a hint of anger in his tone. He was in a hurry to get by, but he didn't expect to meet such a group of people. The longer he delayed, the less money he made. This was simply intolerable to Bai Luo. So at this time, he looked at those people with a hint of anger in his eyes, but those people didn't expect it. They were torn apart so quickly. They thought that they would find out that they were going to a different place only after Bai Luo and his friends arrived at that place. Unexpectedly, they were discovered less than 1/5 of the way after they came out. They were shocked at this time. At this time, Bai Luo, Dao Yangchen, Gao Yangzu and others were all standing there, looking at those people. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 = 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. At this time, the ancestor reacted and followed behind them. Only then did he understand what they had been saying in that place. It turned out that these people realized it, so they were like this. Then we just need to see how they are going to solve this matter. 02 stood there with a clear face, waiting for Bai Luo to deal with them. After all, these people were really too bold. They thought they would be restrained, but they didn't expect that they would become more aggressive, and Bai Luo still saw through it. But what Bai Luo and his companions didn't expect was that, according to their thinking, these people would be a little nervous. After all, their bad deeds were discovered, and Bai Luo and his companions were quite powerful. Now that Bai Luo and his companions knew that they were deceiving Bai Luo, they would definitely receive the due punishment. Logically, the people in this treasure stealing group should feel a little scared, but what they didn't expect was that those people laughed arrogantly in that place, as if they didn't take their word seriously at all. At this time, Bai Luo continued to say in that place, "What are you laughing at? Don't you know that I can completely eliminate you from this place for what you have done? At this time, you actually lied to us. As human beings, why do you have to do this? It seems that I can't let you go today, because what you have done really makes me too angry." If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 217 Exposed. After hearing this, those people continued to laugh in that place. At this time, the leader stopped. He looked at Bai Luo and said to Bai Luo, "I didn't expect you to be so smart. I thought you would know our conspiracy only after you get to that place, but I didn't expect you to find out so quickly. It's really not a coincidence. But anyway, you will know it sooner or later. There is nothing wrong with knowing it in advance. Yes, it is just what you thought just now. We tricked you to this place. You don't think we will really take you to the final place, right? Isn't that a bit too naive? We do this for a reason. Do you still want to get away from us? I tell you, if you want to live, you'd better listen to us. You are just a few people. You can't beat our team. You might as well stay here and obey to avoid some physical pain. After our goal is achieved, we will naturally let you go." Those people did not realize their danger at this time. Instead, they were still threatening Bai Luo in this place. They made Bai Luo so angry that he laughed. Bai Luo thought these people were so interesting. They didn't realize their own strength at all. They were so arrogant in front of them. They were so complacent that they thought Bai Luo was not their opponent. They wanted to attack Bai Luo. They were just pure fools. At this time, the others didn't say anything. They all understood that with the arrogance of these people, they dared to threaten them in this place. Then they would definitely not have an easy time. At this time, Bai Luo was in that place and said to them, "You don't really think that you can beat us here? I don't know where you get the confidence to think that you are our opponent. I'm really curious, why do you think that we can't beat you?" Bai Luo smiled at this time, but the people who knew him knew that this was a sign that Bai Luo was angry, so he showed it. And those people thought that Bai Luo was in this place because he was afraid. He used a questioning tone to cover up his inner panic. In fact, Bai Luo was not their opponent at all. Those people spoke with a bit of disdain, and they told Bai Luo, "Of course, it's because we know that our strength is stronger than yours, so we have the courage. You shouldn't try to be brave here and waste our time. We certainly know what these things represent. You shouldn't struggle here. I admire you. You can actually hold on here for so long. It seems that your understanding of these things has been different for so long. We can certainly defeat you, so even if you find these, we are not afraid. Since you don't know the way, you might as well surrender. Just listen to our arrangements and follow us to that place." At this time, Bai Luo had already understood what these things were, so he rushed directly in front of those people, gently waved his hands, and a majestic force gushed out and came directly in front of those people. Those people felt Bai Luo's intention to attack, so they joined forces to block his attack, but they didn't expect that they hadn't formed their formation yet and were easily knocked to the ground by Bai Luo. Those people were groaning in pain on the ground, and these things were solved in one go. Bai Luo waved his sleeves and said in a mocking tone, "With your strength, you dare to challenge me here? Even if the strength of all of you is added together, you are not my opponent at all." At this time, Bai Luo only used one move and did not make another move because he felt that these people were really not worth his effort. Although those people were knocked down by Bai Luo's attack, They could see that they were not convinced, but quickly stood up from the ground. They didn't know. Bai Luo's attack just now did not use 1/10 of his strength. He just waved his sleeves lightly to knock them to the ground. Bai Luo originally wanted to give them a chance, let them stay here quietly, and lead them forward. After all, Bai Luo still needed them to take him to the last area, so as long as these people listened to them, Bai Luo would not punish them too much. But who knew that these people simply didn't want to live anymore, and they were still provoking Bai Luo there, while Zio too was watching from the side, feeling a little discouraged. He walked up to them while watching and said, Bai Luo has given you enough face. Do you really want to die here? I tell you, be quiet and lead the way obediently. Otherwise, I won't be as good-tempered as Bai Luo. Otherwise, you can try it. As Zio too said these words, those people turned their heads and looked at him. Looking at this thin man, they would never think that he had powerful energy. They all laughed at him and said to Zio too, who are you? Why are you laughing at us here? Don't forget that he sneak attacked us before we even exerted our strength. Even if he knocked us down, so what? We are very strong. I advise you not to help out here, just stop obediently. After saying this, they rushed towards the little rabbit, wanting to beat it up, but who knew that the little rabbit released a force that was even stronger than before. No matter how they attacked, they couldn't get close to the little rabbit. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 = 9 plus book bar released this novel for the first time. The little rabbit was right in front of them, but there was a barrier between them, separating them, and the barrier was very hard. No matter where they attacked, they couldn't attack. The little rabbit stood there steadily, looking at their ferocious expressions, and couldn't help but feel a little disgusted. You said you don't have that kind of strength, but you still insist on holding on here. With my strength alone, I can completely crush you. At this time, the little rabbit took a step forward, and a huge pressure came to them. They began to resist wildly with their own strength, but they found that their bodies had been controlled by this invisible force. Moreover, their small attacks were swallowed up by his power before they even got close to the little rabbit, and the process happened in an instant. Those people didn't understand at all where the power they emitted reached, and it didn't even reach the little rabbit. Chapter 218 Crushing. The little rabbit was still able to approach them. Several of them wanted to attack together and really bring out their strength. Unexpectedly, no matter how they tried in that place, the effect was the same. The little rabbit still pushed them forward steadily. Gao Yangzu and Ao Yangchen watched from the side. They were used to the strength of the little rabbit, so when they saw this group of people being attacked fiercely by the little rabbit, they didn't say anything more at this time. Bai Luo watched from the side and didn't mean to stop the little rabbit. Since the little rabbit was willing to let them accompany him to play, then this was a good time to have fun. After all, people like this who bully the weak and fear the strong, as long as they are given some color, then they will not dare to do anything again. So the little rabbit's method is very useful, as long as they really realize that they are not Bai Luo's opponents with their strength, they will calm down. In this way, they can travel safely in this place. That's why the little rabbit will play with them. Finally, they feel the oppression of this powerful force, because they find that no matter how they attack, the little rabbit can approach them little by little and keep them behind. They could only retreat and feel the mocking eyes of those people looking at them. It was not so easy for these people to accept it, so after attacking for a while, they all surrendered and raised their hands in that place. When the little rabbit saw them posing in this posture, he said to them, "Wouldn't it be better if you did it this way earlier? You had to make me attack you and wasted my time for nothing. I can tell you that your strength is not my opponent at all. You'd better lead the way here obediently. Otherwise, you don't even want to stay here." After saying this, those people at this time already understood, and they all begged for mercy and said to the little rabbit, of course, we will listen to you, and will definitely lead the way and take you to that place." Seeing that they were still honest, the little rabbit did not pursue them any further at this time. It was precisely because their strength was too weak. If they were found to be plotting against their will, they could completely control them. So the little rabbit did not pursue them any further, but just remembered the mistakes they made in their hearts. Once their mistakes exceeded the point of Xiao2's tolerance, Xiao2 would never let them go easily. When those people saw that Xiao2 did not attack them, they finally breathed a sigh of relief and finally did not have to stay in this place in fear. Otherwise, they did not know how they would be bullied by these people. However, these people only obeyed on the surface, but they were very unhappy in their hearts. They never thought that they would be too smart and be ordered around like this, which made them feel very embarrassed. So those who led the way gathered together and continued to plot, but they did not show too much publicity. Their attitude was much more humble than before, because they knew the strength of these people and they could not afford to offend them. So if they wanted to retaliate next, they had to find a place that could provide them with some help. In this way, they could truly avenge their previous shame and take back all the humiliation they had just received. So the few people at this time looked at each other. Of course, they would not take Bai Luo and the others to the right place. They wanted to take them to a mechanism and strangle Bai Luo and the others there. In this way, they could avenge their revenge. When Bai Luo saw Xiao2 coming back, he couldn't help but teasing him at that place. I thought you were sleeping all the time and didn't notice this day. Looking at you, you must have noticed it a long time ago. Why did you show it now? After hearing Bai Luo's question, Xiao2 felt embarrassed and said at that place, in fact, at the beginning, I thought they couldn't make any trouble, but I didn't expect that they really dared to take us away. If our Yangchen hadn't come out, I really wanted them to continue and see what they would do. I remember that you were really anxious to get there, so we shouldn't waste too much time on the road. After hearing this, Bai Luo and our Yangchen at this time admired Xiao2's ability very much. It was simply too strong. He could put everything in his eyes and didn't need to be controlled too much. Just based on this point, they are much more powerful than others, so they don't need to keep saying anything in this place. Because of this, they can stay in this place all the time. Okay, now they definitely dare not lead us to the wrong direction again. We just need to follow them obediently now. After saying this, Bai Luo didn't say anything else. Since they won't lead them to the wrong direction like before, Bai Luo doesn't have to worry. However, those people still didn't realize what kind of existence Bai Luo and his people were. They still wanted to take Bai Luo to the lethal mechanism according to the method just discussed. In this way, they could get rid of Bai Luo and his people, and they could easily make them their scapegoats. At this time, they obviously didn't remember anything, and still moved forward in that place. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus book bar published this novel for the first time. Bai Luo now focused his attention on them. After all, people like this will have a second time after the first time, so Yangzu and others certainly can't let them go so easily. Xiao2 lay on Bai Luo's back, looking at those people from time to time, and found that they were a little more disciplined than before. At this time, Bai Luo said to Yangchen, "Are we going in the right direction? They won't take us to another place, right?" After hearing this, Yangchen looked around and saw that they had just turned around and went to another place after being dealt with by Xiao2. So according to reason, there should be no problem, and the feeling that Yangchen was familiar with was back. Yangchen was at that place, nodding to Bai Luo. Now it seems that there should be no problem. They should have taken us to the right direction. After hearing this, Bai Luo didn't say anything else. Although this episode happened in the middle, as long as the result was good, Bai Luo was a little anxious, so he didn't want to have too much communication with them, and just wanted to reach the last area quickly. Chapter 219 Let Go. As for how to execute these people, Bai Luo will not let them go easily, but now is not the time. Anyway, there is no need to rush. Bai Luo and his friends can control these people in their hands, and they can set off whenever they want, so there is no need to worry about anything. Bai Luo and his friends are like this at this time, so the ancestor continues to follow them on the road. After seeing the invisible pressure from the little rabbit just now, the ancestor understands that his detection seems to be correct. This beast has become like this, which really makes the ancestor a little unexpected. However, the ancestor is now very Buddhist. If it was at the beginning, he might have told our Yangzu and our Yangchen about this news, but now he doesn't want to care about these things, just quietly following behind Bai Luo and his friends. Gao Yangzu and Dao Yangqin can't help but wonder if he is injured somewhere and hurriedly check on him in that place. Later, the ancestor said that he just figured out some things and didn't want to pursue them anymore. At this time, the two of them were relieved. Otherwise, they really thought that something had happened to the ancestor. After all, this was the ancestor of their Aoyang family, and of course they had to respect him. So when they saw that the ancestor was fine, they continued to walk in front. The ancestor followed them obediently. As long as they went to any place, the ancestor would follow them there without saying anything. Bai Luo naturally noticed the change in the ancestor, so he said to Yangzu and Yangchen in a teasing manner, "I originally thought that your ancestor was going to do something to me. Now it seems that he should have understood these things, and finally he doesn't have to confront me here." After hearing what Bai Luo said, Gao Yangzu and Dao Yangchen felt a little funny at this time, and they talked to Bai Luo at that place. "We originally thought that he misunderstood something, but later found that he was really thinking too much, but fortunately he didn't continue to talk, otherwise we both don't know how to contact you." The few of them continued to chat in this place. The people who led the way were going to take them to a secret place, and that secret place was certainly not that simple. That kind of secret place was not accessible to ordinary people, and if they wanted to get in, they had to go through an extremely complex mechanism, which was the fatal mechanism they just mentioned. After passing through this mechanism, they could get inside, so this terrible mechanism basically destroyed most people, because if they wanted to pass through this mechanism, they had to sacrifice their lives. That is to say, if these people who led the way wanted to pass through the mechanism and get to the secret place, they had to let Bai Luo and his life be sacrificed there. In this way, they could successfully pass through that place, so now they still regarded Bai Luo as their tool, as long as they could sacrifice their lives. Then they didn't have to worry. So at this time, they would be in this place, humbly leading the way in front. But once they reached the mechanism and lured Bai Luo and his people into the mechanism, they would show their true expressions and states. Because by that time, Bai Luo and the others would definitely die. The mechanism they encountered would definitely devour their lives. In this way, they sacrificed their lives for the mechanism, so they dared to expose themselves. However, Bai Luo and the others were still a threat. These people knew this, so they were really good at acting. If they didn't have this ability, it would be unknown what would happen. So now they were all walking quietly in that place. Gao Yangzu and Bai Luo were discussing what to do after arriving at that place. "Anyway, the people between us and the demon realm have already started a battle. If we encounter those people again, the first thing we do is naturally to eliminate them. As for other problems, we have to wait until we find them before discussing them. It's still a little too early to say anything now." After saying this, Gao Yangzu and the others didn't say anything else. They all followed Bai Luo's opinion. Since Bai Luo said so, they might as well be obedient in this place and don't cause too much trouble. So they all nodded in that place. "Well, then we all believe you. As long as it's what you said, Bai Luo, we will definitely not have any problems." Bai Luo was very grateful to these people for believing in him. In order not to disappoint them, Bai Luo would definitely continue to move forward in this place and control everything well. And those people did not dare to stop easily. They were afraid that the little rabbit would attack them again. It was conceivable how big a shadow the little disciple had brought to them just now, because the feeling of being powerless to fight was really too scary for them. So even in this place, they wanted to lead them into a trap, but they were still a little worried, for fear of exposing their feet and letting the little rabbit find out. Then they would be attacked again. So at this time they could only be careful in doing things in that place. Only in this way could they get through these things smoothly. Otherwise they didn't know what problems would happen because of these things. And it was precisely because of this that they were able to stay in this place until the end. Because they had a clearer understanding of these things, Bai Luo continued to let them walk in front. These people walked and stopped, and finally they were about to arrive. The error-free version is available at 69 bookbar. 6 = 9 +_. At this time, Dao Yangchen looked at the surrounding environment and found that there were no major problems. In fact, Dao Chen was only generally familiar with these things, so now that he saw that there was no major problem, he did not say anything. Bai Luo and his friends naturally did not know about this, so they were deceived by these people to a secret place again. After seeing this place, those people all stopped at this place. Bai Luo said to them, "What are you doing? Have we already arrived at this place?" Those people saw Bai Luo and his friends and they were a little bit unconvinced. This was the last area. They hurriedly said to Bai Luo at that place, "This is not it, but we have to pass through this land to reach the thickest place, so this time you may have to go in front, because the things in front are relatively powerful, and we have no way to resist, so we may need your help." After hearing this, Bai Luo began to doubt again. These people let them go in front. Is there any conspiracy? Chapter 220 Secret Place. So Bai Luo said to them at that place, "What are you talking about? Why do you let us go in front? Logically, you should be more familiar with this place than us, so you should lead the way in front." They have now arrived at this secret place, and now they need to lead Bai Luo and his friends in. Let them come into contact with the deadly mechanism first, so that they will be killed, and their lives will be used as a sacrifice to prompt the mechanism to be removed. And now these people are leading the way. Naturally, they didn't want to rush forward, because they certainly didn't want to be the scapegoat. But when they heard Bai Luo ask this, they hurriedly said to each other, "Of course, it's just because you are stronger. Don't worry, we have just been beaten by you. Although we are already clear about your strength, how dare we tell lies and deceive you? Wouldn't that make ourselves unhappy? So don't worry, what we said. It is definitely not good for you. There is no big problem. You don't have to question us here. We do this because we want to resolve these things quickly." After hearing this, Bai Luo didn't think much at this time, so Bai Luo didn't doubt it too much, because Bai Luo felt that they might really not have the courage to deceive them. So at this time, Bai Luo said to Aoyangzu and Aoyangchen, "Should we follow their arrangement and go in front? I always feel that something might go wrong." After Bai Luo said this, Aoyangzu and Aoyangchen did not feel uncertain, because they did not know much about these things. From the reasons given by those people, it still made sense. So at this time, Aoyangchen was in that place, and said to Bai Luo tentatively, "Why don't we just go in front? These people dare not make any big trouble. After all, they still have to rely on us to get out of this place. Once he doesn't change, we will take action immediately. The headquarters will not ask any questions." After hearing Aoyangchen say this, Bai Luo felt that it made some sense. They just tried it anyway. If there was anything wrong, they would change it immediately. In this way, they could persist to the end. So after reaching this point, several people agreed. So Bai Luo took Aoyangzu and Aoyangchen and stood in front. At this time, Aoyangchen stood there, looking at the people in front of him. They immediately retreated a little, and now Bai Luo and his companions stepped into the opening, thus touching the mechanism. At this time, the few people saw that Bai Luo and his companions had been fooled, and went in first as they said, and they couldn't help but laugh behind them. "You are so stupid. We fooled you once, but we didn't expect that we could fool you a second time. It's really good. You should go in quickly and become the sacrifice of this mechanism. Then we can successfully break through here." Those few people really couldn't hold their temper. Bai Luo and his companions had just taken a step, and they laughed loudly at this place. It must be because they had seen the horror of this mechanism before, so they were so happy when they saw Bai Luo being attacked. Bai Luo was very angry when he heard them say this. He immediately turned around and glared at them from that place, saying to them, "What on earth did you do?" At this time, the scene that those people imagined did not happen. They were surprised to find that the mechanism here seemed to be ineffective. Generally, nothing should happen. They were very disappointed. They all started to try it in that place. What's going on? This shouldn't be the case. Shouldn't the moment Bai Luo and his team stepped in, those mechanisms would fall from the sky and capture them? Why did it become like this? Why are they safe and sound? At this moment, those people saw Bai Luo and his team still standing in front of them, and felt that everything they had accepted before was an illusion. Now they could no longer explain what was happening in front of them, and they couldn't help but ask questions in a hurry. and from their terrified tone, it can be felt that these things really exceeded their imagination, because after all, according to their original plan, Bai Luo and his team would have become corpses one after another when they walked here, so how could they become sacrifices? That's why they dared to mock Bai Luo and his team in that tone. But what they didn't expect was that Bai Luo and his team not only didn't get into trouble, but were still standing there in good condition, and even walked back from there. At this moment, those people looked at everything in front of them in amazement. They would never have thought that this mechanism would actually fail in this place, which was a heavy blow to them. Bai Luo was very angry. He immediately led those people to evacuate from that place. Fortunately, there was no change. Otherwise, they must have been in danger just now. Bai Luo was very angry at this time. Why did he listen to their nonsense again and do what they thought? At this time, Gao Yangzu and Dao Yangchen were still frightened. After all, looking at the arrogance of those people, they knew that there must be something really dangerous. It would happen just now, but it didn't go as they expected. Fortunately, it developed like this, otherwise, wouldn't their lives have been broken here long ago? So at this time, they all knew it. They didn't know what to say, and could only stare at those people fiercely. Those people would never have thought that these things would happen. They were at a loss. Bai Luo rushed to them, slapped each of them, and said to them, read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR published this novel for the first time. You are really tired of living. You have deceived us again and again in this place. What exactly do you want to do, Bai Luo? Although Bai Luo has a good temper, he can't stand being deceived like this, and his trust has collapsed. This is a heavy blow to him. He never thought that his trust would be trampled on like this. And those people obviously haven't reacted yet, still muttering to themselves in that place. Why did the keyboard fail? Could it be that this secret place has become another place? How could this happen? We finally found it, and each perfect upgrade. Why did it become like this? They shouted wildly in that place, as if they had not yet broken free from the reality of the blow, and were still immersed in their own fantasies. When Zio2 saw them like this, he was very annoyed. He thought that the heavy attacks he had just given them had already let them know that they could not make trouble again, but he didn't expect them to be so bold. Chapter 221 Cleaning Up. It seemed that the lesson he had just given them was not enough, so the little rabbit stepped forward and looked at them again. You are really brave. I have just warned you not to play tricks on me again, but I didn't expect you to ignore my words. Now I will show you how powerful I am. The little rabbit immediately began to exert his strength. He quickly combined those people together and used a huge move. After this move, those people lay on the ground in embarrassment. They felt as if they had just been attacked by thousands of people, so that they could not raise their heads and could only lie on the ground groaning in pain. After doing all this, the little rabbit came in front of them again, looking down at them, and said to them, if I don't beat you up, you still won't be able to remember. I have already told you, as long as you lead us to the final location, then you will all get through these things safely. But unfortunately you don't realize what I mean by saying this, and you dare to provoke me here, then I will let you know how powerful I am. The little rabbit continued to beat those people in that place, and those people could not dodge, and could only accept such attacks in that place. Moreover, the little rabbit had no intention of showing mercy. He just wanted to teach these people a lesson, so that they would know why he let them go just now, just to give them a chance to reform. But who knew that these people didn't appreciate it, and were still complacent in this place, thinking that what they did would not be discovered by them. Fortunately, nothing too dangerous happened, otherwise, the little rabbit would definitely kill them directly. Bai Luo was watching from the side and would not take action until Zio2 really wanted to get rid of them because they were still useful after all. However, these people needed to be dealt with because what they just said must have been sure of victory and they could be killed. So Zio2 felt that it was not a pity for these people to die and they could find someone else to go to the last place and they didn't have to support this group of people, which was the most dangerous existence for them. Gao Yangchen and Dao Yangzu were standing next to them, and they were naturally a little angry. They had never seen such a sinister and cunning person. What they said was all lies, just deliberately luring them into the trap and wanting to use them as scapegoats. This kind of thing was something they had never seen before, so after seeing it now, they didn't know what to say. But they didn't express their opinions. After all, they would listen to Bai Luo's words. As long as Bai Luo asked them to do it, they would not refuse at all. So the two of them were so obedient, waiting there, without any signs of taking action. Bai Luo watched those people being attacked by ZYO2 painfully, and felt relieved. He did not rush to say anything, but watched quietly from the side, intending to take action later. At this time, ZYO2 was relieved. He had long been unaccustomed to the way these people handled things. After all, according to ZYO2's previous temper, he had already sent them to another place if he did not like something. Now these people can stay here safely just because ZYO2 obeyed Bai Luo's words. But seeing that Bai Luo did not come to stop him after fighting for such a long time, ZYO2 knew that Bai Luo now acquiesced to his behavior. So at this time, ZYO2 felt even happier. He continued to attack that place again and again. It was obvious that ZYO2 was venting his anger. They did not say anything, and ZYO2 could do what he wanted freely. At this time, they all watched quietly from the side. Those who were beaten were in great pain at this time. They still did not understand why the mechanism failed. They thought they could deal with Bai Luo and others this time, but they did not expect such an accident to happen. So those people desperately begged for mercy in that place. After all, they didn't want to die. They really didn't expect that Bai Luo and the others had such a powerful force. It seems that their estimation was wrong. They really fell into the hands of ZYO2. So at this time, those people could only desperately speak in that place, hoping that they could have a way to survive. Otherwise, they didn't know what would happen. At this time, ZYO2 had no intention of stopping. He attacked them fiercely in that place, and the more he attacked, the happier he was. ZYO2 had a happy smile on his face. When Bai Luo saw him like this, he knew that ZYO2 was happy again, otherwise he would not show it. At this time, Bai Luo laughed in that place. It seems that this time, you have to vent. When you are happy, let them go. After all, they deceived us in this place, which is already an unforgivable thing. When Bai Luo said these words, there was a bit of coldness in his tone. It can be felt that Bai Luo was really angry about these things, otherwise he would not be so calm. Those people desperately looked at Bai Luo in that place, knowing that he was the leader among these people, so if they wanted to live, they must beg Bai Luo for mercy. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus book bar released this novel for the first time. They were all in that place, saying loudly to Bai Luo, "Please let us go. We dare not do this again. Just give us another chance. Let us go. Spare us. We know how powerful you are, and dare not do anything else." Those people said these words in that place, and their expressions were very innocent, but Bai Luo didn't want to say anything else, just told them coldly, "I told you once the first time, but you are still there, using such a despicable means. What is the so-called mechanism you just mentioned? Why are you so sure that after we get here, we will be hit by the mechanism and lose our lives? If you can't explain this matter clearly, you can't live." At this time, ZYO2 echoed from the side, "Yes, you always have something to do to harm us, and now you want us to let you go. Are you kidding? If there is no problem with this mechanism, we have just died here, how can we still hear you begging for mercy in this place? So if I attack you now, you should bear it, and should not resist. Do you understand?" Chapter 222 Lessons. After ZYO2 finished speaking, he increased his attack, and had no intention of stopping. At this time, ZYO2 was getting happier and happier. At this time, Yao Yangzu couldn't help but say, "Sure enough, ZYO2 must be the happiest this time, because he can finally do these things wantonly, and Bai Luo won't say anything." They have known each other for so long, and have long been familiar with each other's personalities. So after hearing what Yao Yangzu said, Bao Yangchen and Bai Luo laughed and continued to watch. At this time, those people finally couldn't stand it anymore. They looked at Bai Luo begging for mercy, and said to Bai Luo, "As long as you let us go, we will definitely tell you everything we know. Please give me a way to live. Don't you want to know what these things are all about?" As long as you let us go, we will definitely tell you everything. There will be absolutely no problem. After hearing this, Bai Luo understood that what they said should be true, because they had been beaten like this, there must be no adulteration. So at this time, Bai Luo looked at Xiao Tu and said to Xiao Tu, well, let's stop for a while and see what you can say to satisfy us. If not, then the attack will not stop. At this time, Xiao Tu stopped after beating them severely. Xiao Tu returned to Bai Luo's side refreshed. The faces of several people at this time could no longer be seen. They were all swollen after being beaten by Xiao Tu. They could feel the heart-wrenching pain in their bodies, but they could not show it because they knew that the people in front of them would definitely have a bigger attack later. If they showed dissatisfaction, they would definitely be beaten even harder. So they had to be obedient in that place and didn't dare to say anything. From this point of view, it can be understood that they are really scared of being beaten now, otherwise, they would not look so aggrieved now. Bai Luo then sat quietly there and said to them, I will give you a chance now. If you still can't explain everything to me clearly, then I will attack you directly. There is nothing else to do, so hurry up and tell me, or you will miss the chance later. Bai Luo came to their side and stared at them. Gao Yangzu, the ancestor and the little rabbit were waiting there. They also wanted to see why they hurt them over and over again. These people were really brave. They could clearly feel that the strength of Bai Luo and his men should not be so easy to fight against, but they dared to attack them twice in this place. I really don't know what they were thinking. At this time, they were all in that place, looking at Bai Luo, and said to Bai Luo, we actually accepted someone else's commission, so we are here to lead people to the place we want to go, because as long as we can get the treasure there, that person will give us corresponding benefits. So we are your guides to take you there, so that you can take the bullets for us, and become our cannon fodder in this kind of place, where you will be solved by the agency once you go in, so that we will be your guides. Otherwise, we will not agree so quickly. After all, according to the people in our city, once you do these things for outsiders like you will be attacked to a certain extent, and accidents will easily happen on the road, so there are very few people like us who are willing to do it. That's why you can find out about us by asking there, but we only do this for the final treasure. After hearing this, Bai Luo didn't expect that there was such a thing, but he didn't understand these things, and didn't want to care about them. He hated to care about such trivial matters even more. He just wanted to clean up the things here quickly. So Bai Luo turned to look at those people, knowing that there must be members of the demon realm in this place. Otherwise, this kind of thing would not have happened. So Bai Luo said to them, then I want to ask you, is the place we are in now the last place you want to find the treasure? This mechanism is the one you just saw, so the failure caused you to be disappointed, right? At this time, those people nodded, knowing that Bai Luo now understood all this, so it would be easier for them to talk about it next. So they continued to say to Bai Luo in that place, yes, this is the last place, so even if some of you find that we have taken you in the wrong direction, we still brought you here. This mechanism should trap people here and take their lives as soon as someone steps in. Then this mechanism will fail, and we can pass through this place peacefully, but for some reason, the mechanism failed before you passed this place, so it didn't hurt you at all. This is telling us that this mission has failed. After hearing this, Bai Luo finally put down the stone in his heart. He had always been a little worried, but now he finally understood the reason for these things. At this time, Bai Luo already understood. He knew that in such a place, there must be members of the demon realm, so he asked the guides there. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR first published this novel. Are those people who asked you to bring us here from the demon realm, or are there others? At this time, those people shook their heads. It was not related to the demon realm, but there were other people manipulating all this. Bai Luo was too lazy to care about their business and just wanted to quickly eliminate the members of the demon realm here. Since there are people from the demon realm here, what we have to do is to clean them all up, otherwise, they will definitely make trouble again. This is the mission of Bai Luo and his team, so Bai Luo planned to take action. At this time, those people said to Bai Luo and the others, you'd better not look for them in this place. All the people from the demon realm here have been killed. So even if you go looking for them now, you won't find them at all. We already knew the news at that time. We thought it was fake at first, but when we just stepped in here and smelled the air, we knew that these things are true. After hearing what they said, Bai Luo was a little shocked. He turned around, a little unbelievable. Who could have gotten rid of the people in the demon realm so quickly? Chapter 223 Mystery. Moreover, Bai Luo had not heard too much fighting, so this person must be very strong. Bai Luo was curious, so he immediately asked the treasure stealing group to lead the way and go there to check it out. After all, this treasure stealing group was a good tool for them. Since they knew the location of these members of the demon realm, they should be able to find the best place with them. So Bai Luo followed the treasure stealing group at this time, wanting to check the bodies of those members to see if it was really as they said, that they had been solved by someone long ago. Those treasure stealing groups naturally did not dare to stop at all, so they hurriedly took Bai Luo and went in the direction they knew. When they arrived there, they really found the members of the demon realm lying on the ground. They were all lying on the ground, with blood beside them. The whole scene looked very bloody, with corpses everywhere, which made people's scalps numb. It can be imagined what kind of person with strength could do all this. Bai Luo couldn't help but become a little interested in the initiator of this matter. With such strength, if he could cooperate with them, it would be a good thing for Bai Luo. So at this time, Bai Luo and his team hurriedly checked to see if there were any clues on these people, otherwise Bai Luo would not know who did all this. Although Bai Luo felt that killing the members of the demon realm was a very right thing to do, Bai Luo still wanted to know where such masters came from. If he could cooperate with them, it would be a very good thing. Bai Luo and his team hurriedly looked at that place. Gao Chen, Gao Zhu and Zio all acted separately and began to search in this place with the people of the treasure stealing group to see if there were any clues left on the bodies of these members of the demon realm. After they arrived there, they found that the way these members of the demon realm died was very strange, all with the same wounds, and they died almost instantly. This kind of powerful strength was simply beyond their imagination. Bai Luo felt that there must be very complicated things hidden behind this, so at this time, Gao Chen's face could not help but be a little solemn. An attack like this is definitely not something that people like us can have. It seems that either one person or a group of people performed the same move at the same time, so that the same gap can be left on their bodies. But this also proves that the person is quite powerful. Ordinary people can't reach this level at all. After saying this, it is obvious that this is what they guessed, but the more they guessed, the more they could prove how powerful the person behind it was. Bai Luo looked at them and found that they were all dead. After confirming that they had no disguise, he didn't want to say anything more. After all, in Bai Luo's opinion, since everyone in the demon realm was dead, there was no need to care about it. Anyway, they only had one mission, which was to kill the people in the demon realm. If they continued to dig deeper, they might waste a lot of time in this place. However, Gao Zhu and Gao Chen were not as simple as Bai Luo thought. After seeing the strange death postures everywhere, they were a little curious and wanted to see what kind of person could do it. So Gao Chen and the others wanted to investigate and see who had solved these people. In this way, they would know who was behind all these things, but Bai Luo didn't want to care about it anymore. Do you really want to investigate? Hurry up and solve these things, and then we'll leave this place. Anyway, we only have one task, which is to solve the people from the demon realm. Now that these people from the demon realm have been solved, why should we still watch here? It's better to leave this place directly. Bai Luo was thinking about resuming the business of the internet cafe as soon as possible. Since they had come to such a place, it meant that they were very close to the final goal, so Bai Luo didn't want to care about it anymore and left this place directly and went to the area they were going to. At this time, none of them thought that when Bai Luo and the others were watching here, there was actually someone staring at them in a place they didn't see. They could feel that the gaze had been chasing their backs, and they must have some interest in them. And that mysterious light, coming from an unknown place, only flashed for a moment and disappeared. It can be seen that this is definitely not an ordinary person. At this time, Bai Luo and his friends had not noticed this and were still checking the deaths of those members of the demon realm. At this time, Bai Luo understood that if Yang Chen and his friends were not allowed to deal with these things, they would definitely feel uncomfortable, but Bai Luo really didn't want to care, so he could only agree with them that they would leave after staying in this place for a while. So Bai Luo went to stand aside. When the mysterious thing just stared at Bai Luo and his friends, Zio actually noticed something was wrong, because he could feel that something was staring at them, and he noticed it. If they were not prepared in advance, they would definitely be affected by these things. So at this time, Zio came to Bai Luo's side and said to Bai Luo, "Didn't you feel a burning gaze fixed on you just now? I feel that someone should be watching us in secret, so we must be careful, never give up, and be alert to the surroundings." Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 = 9 + BOOK_BAR is the first to publish this novel. At this time, Zio reminded Bai Luo and the others. In this way, Bai Luo and the others had a clear mind. Bai Luo understood what Zio meant. He had not taken it to heart just now, and just stood aside. Because Bai Luo had said that he didn't need to care about these things, he certainly didn't listen to them. At the same time, he didn't know what Zio said, but he thought Zio was right, so he nodded. "Well, then everyone be careful, don't keep staring at this place. If we don't have anything to do, we will leave this place." Since Bai Luo had just promised Yang Chen and Yang Zhu that they would stay here for a while, Bai Luo didn't say anything more, but sat down with Zio. Seeing the two of them seriously solving these problems in that place, Bai Luo couldn't say anything else now. Since they liked it, it was normal for them to do these things. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 224 Doubts. If Bai Luo still tried to stop them here, it would be a bit wrong, so he sat there. After spending some time together, Zio had understood Bai Luo's character. Bai Luo looked cold on the surface, but he was actually very kind in his heart. As long as it did not violate Bai Luo's original direction, Bai Luo could help them solve everything they did. However, everything should be based on safety. They did not realize this, and were still watching from that place. At this time, Bai Luo and Zio were waiting there. At this time, Yang Zhu and Yang Chen's eyes did not leave the members of the demon realm in front of them, and the people of the treasure stealing group did not dare to act rashly now. They were afraid that Zio would notice that they had other ideas and come to attack them fiercely. At that time, they would really suffer a lot, so the people of the treasure stealing group were very well behaved at this time. As long as Bai Luo asked them to do it, they would do it. If Bai Luo did not say anything, they would just stay quietly by the side without any intervention. Zio said to Bai Luo at that place, "You have known them for a long time, so let's wait here. There shouldn't be any big problems." After hearing this, Bai Luo understood what Zio meant. He nodded and didn't say anything else. He could feel that they were in a good mood this time, otherwise, they wouldn't agree to what Zio said so quickly. Because if it was someone else, they might have a different attitude. So when Zio saw that Bai Luo didn't resist, like he did at the beginning, he laughed. "I know that you just feel that what you said is not right, but in fact, you care about these things more than anyone else." After hearing him say this, Bai Luo felt a little embarrassed at this time, so he looked at Zio from that place and said to Zio, "You said that, if you don't know, you might think I did something else. I did these things to solve the problem quickly, otherwise I can't get through this place safely. The most important thing is that Bai Luo really wants to quickly restore the internet cafe. If he doesn't make money, he doesn't know how much he will lose. The money he made with great difficulty will be in trouble because of these things. Then Bai Luo will really collapse. He can tolerate other things, but in this world, nothing can compare to the importance of making money to him." So at this time Bai Luo waited patiently for Yang Zhu and Yang Chen in that place. They watched there for a long time, To be honest, they didn't get anything new, but they understood that the person who took action was definitely not any master they had seen, because this method was something they had never seen before. The two were somewhat curious about what a person with this ability would look like. They couldn't help but want to see the other levels of this person, but they couldn't be sure who did it, so the two could only talk there. Anyway, this is definitely not an ability possessed by the major families, and it doesn't look like something that we humans have. It must be an attack method that we have never seen before. It seems that this person should be a hidden master. It would be great if we could find him. This method can kill a large number of people in a short time. This ability is not something that ordinary people can have. After hearing this, Dao Yangchen and Dao Yangzu continued to think that it was because they had come into contact with too many masters that they could see that this was definitely not the ability of any sect they were familiar with. They became even more curious about what kind of masters there were on this continent. This was not something they could explain in a few words, so at this time they had to stay here, hoping to find some breakthroughs. Bai Luo looked at the time and felt that it was almost time, so he stood up and wanted to call Ao Yangzu and the ancestor to leave here. The ancestor was beside Ao Yangzu and Ao Yangchen, helping them, and he watched more seriously. Ao Yangzu and Ao Yangchen thought he could give them something useful, but unexpectedly, the ancestor just said one sentence. "I haven't seen it before. It must be a method that has come out recently. After all, in our time, no one could use this move. We just crushed them directly, not like now." Hearing the ancestor say these words, with a relaxed look, Ao Yangzu and Ao Yangchen didn't know what to say at this time. They couldn't help but admire him at that place. After all, the ancestor was probably the only one who could have such a powerful strength and could say it calmly. So Ao Yangzu and Ao Yangchen said to him at that place, "Ancestor, we know that your strength is definitely more powerful than we imagined, so we will definitely follow you and learn well from you next time." Seeing that the two of them finally understood a little, the ancestor was finally happy at this time. He didn't say anything and continued to accompany them and watch at that place. At this time, Bai Luo walked to their side and said to them, "Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR first published this novel. Haven't you finished reading yet? Can we leave this place? If we stay here, it will waste too much time." Bai Luo was a little anxious at this time. He wanted to leave this place quickly, find that thing, and then resume the business of the internet cafe. In this way, he can continue to make money. Otherwise, he didn't know how much time he would waste in this place. After hearing what Bai Luo said, Ao Yangzu and Ao Yangchen nodded. "Although we can't be sure who this person is, we should have seen it clearly. I'm afraid it won't be that easy to see this person again. Let's leave this place and don't delay the business." Every time Ao Yangzu and Ao Yangchen came to this time, they would know exactly what they should do, so this is why Bai Luo always liked them. Because they knew what they should and shouldn't do, and never went wrong because of other things. The most important thing is that Bai Luo felt that Ao Yangzu and Ao Yangchen obeyed him, so there was no need for him to get angry over a small matter. At this time, they planned to leave this place, but unexpectedly, a little girl suddenly appeared in the distance. Chapter 225 Girl. The little girl was wearing plain clothes, and she seemed to be very empty. She seemed to be looking at the road ahead, but her eyes were not focused. She had an incredible feeling, which made them wonder where she came from. However, they could feel that she was definitely not an ordinary person, so Bai Luo looked at the girl and walked to them step by step. Bai Luo found that he was not wearing any family clothes and had no overflowing strength, but he gave people the feeling that he was a very powerful person, otherwise he would not appear here. At this time, Bai Luo was there, looking at the girl, and after seeing the others, the girl did not say anything, but walked directly to Bai Luo and said to Bai Luo, "Where are you from? Why can't I find you?" The little girl was very curious about Bai Luo's origin, because she had a very powerful manual, in which all the strong men were included, but when he was staring at Bai Luo and the others just now, he had found the identities of others, but not Bai Luo's. In the land manual that the girl knew about, there was no such strong man as Bai Luo. However, Bai Luo's strength made him think that there seemed to be something wrong with the book. He couldn't solve this problem, so he naturally came out to ask Bai Luo. Bai Luo was really wary of this girl of unknown origin. He didn't know who she was, but he was able to appear in front of them safely and so calmly, so he knew that she was definitely not an ordinary person. So at this time, Bai Luo looked at the girl, as if she didn't understand what he meant, and said to him, "What are you talking about? I don't know you." After Bai Luo said this, the little girl continued to look at Bai Luo in another place, with a bit of scrutiny in her eyes, which made Bai Luo a little unhappy. Bai Luo felt a little puzzled about the girl's words, and didn't understand what he meant by not being able to find himself. The ancestor and our Yangzu naturally did not want to see Bai Luo being attacked like this, so they quickly said to the little girl, "What exactly are you asking? It's so confusing. Do we have to tell you everything? Are you some kind of deity who must know all this?" After our Yangzu said this, the little girl started to move, but what they didn't expect was that they were all fixed in that place all of a sudden, and there was no way to move. Originally, Ao Yangzu, Ao Yangchen, and the ancestor were all staying quietly in that place, but after Ao Yangchen and Ao Yangzu finished saying this, the little girl's aura changed, as if she had been deceived, and she began to attack fiercely in that place. Because only in this way can he stabilize his position, otherwise he doesn't know what problems will happen because of these things. At this time, the girl looked at Bai Luo and said to him, "Who are you? You haven't answered my question yet. Why do I feel very familiar with you? Your strength feels very strong. Where are you from? Why is it not listed in the manual?" Bai Luo just felt that this person's words were too dense. He had been asking him questions in this place, and this girl dared to come to Bai Luo and question him blatantly. This was a complete blow to Bai Luo, and he looked at the girl there. He said to the girl, "Don't say things that make me confused here. If you don't have something to ask me, then there is no need for you to stay here. We have some other things to do, so we can't accompany you here." After saying this, Bai Luo walked around the girl and wanted to leave her side. Unexpectedly, they couldn't move. Bai Luo tried to move his legs in that place and found that his legs were like being nailed in place. This feeling should be controlled. Suddenly, everyone was controlled. The little girl looked at Bai Luo and said to Bai Luo, "I have already told you that, since I haven't asked these questions clearly, you don't have to say those things. Those who don't know would think that I did something wrong. I just want to ask who you are. Why do you treat me with this attitude?" After the girl said this, Bai Luo looked at the girl in surprise. Unexpectedly, the girl didn't spend too much strength to control all of them. It was really shocking. Bai Luo didn't know what to say, but he could feel that these things were not something that ordinary people could achieve. So at this moment, Bai Luo was quietly looking at the girl, and he said to her, "What tricks did you use? Why were you able to control all of us? This is amazing. Who are you, and where are you from?" Bai Luo asked these questions. He had to figure them out now, otherwise, Bai Luo would not be able to stay any longer. After all, everything was different, and there had to be some other content, so that it could really be useful. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR published this novel for the first time. Otherwise, who knows what will happen. At this time, the little girl came to Bai Luo and said to them, "I can see that you are all very dissatisfied with my actions just now. So I will tell you now. I have put different things in all of your places, so no matter what, everything will go smoothly." At this time, Bai Luo was listening there, wanting to see what the girl could say. After turning around, the girl told them, "I use the immortal method, which is not something that ordinary people can have, and this move is very powerful. That's why I can easily get rid of these people." When the girl mentioned the immortal method, everyone was a little stunned. They had never heard of the so-called immortal method, let alone what it meant, so they couldn't help but say there, "What does he mean? Did he say something else? This is really something that makes people incomprehensible." But Bai Luo felt that this so-called immortal method was so powerful that, if he could learn it, he would definitely gain something different. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like, Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.